What's up, everybody? Welcome to the WAN Show. We got a great show lined up for you this week. We'll be talking about a company that is under fire for anti-consumer behavior, and I'll be breaking my silence on them a little bit because they were on my do not talk about list after they threatened to sue me a number of years ago.
Yeah.
That's right, my friends. We'll also be talking about the RTX 5060 law that happened this week, and the silver lining of it, because the good news is the RTX 5060 and 5060 Ti are not the only budget GPUs out there, and there are other ones that you can get for a reasonable price near MSRP right now. What else we got going on this week?
Discord trials face scans to verify your age, which means that if you want to look at something not safe for work, you have to show them who you are first. That's cool.
That's cute.
And also, there's some companies that have done good things over the, unfortunately, years, looking at the time frame that we got the good things from, and we'll talk about that to try to make it positive.
And by popular demand, the Shipstorm sale event has been extended. We've been offering free shipping on all orders over $150 on LTTStore this week. Wait, what's going on right now? Oh, it ends tomorrow at midnight, so we technically only have a little over one more day of free shipping.
No.
Wait, what? What am I supposed to... Oh, wait, no. Now you have until Tuesday,
You got it.
April 22nd at 10 a.m. Pacific time to get free shipping on all orders over $150. And there's more. You can get our magnetic cable management essential solution for $70 off. So that's the big hit there. And we're also taking $10 off our MCM starter kit. So that's now only $15. Okay, but we'll get whatever. We'll talk about that more later. The show is brought to you today by Netdata, Proton, and DeleteMe. Also, of course, our wrap partner dbrand, our laptop partner Dell, and our chair partner Secret Lab. All right, let's jump right into our headline topic this week. A name I have not spoken the name of in quite some time. Synology. HexOS NAS operating system disclosure. So I recently invested in the creation of a user-friendly NAS software that you can just install on your own hardware without being locked into someone's hardware ecosystem. That's going to be relevant in a moment. First, let's talk about what happened. A couple of days ago, Synology's Plus series of NAS systems no longer allowed the use of non-Synology or non-certified drives to get the full set of features on their NAS. Instead...
Certified hard drives.
Yeah. Instead, customers will be required to buy the company's branded hard drives, which, by the way, if you've ever... Yeah. If you know anything about company-branded hard drives, like HP hard drives... HP doesn't make hard drives.
Not at all.
And so typically these vendor-locked hard drives are just normal hard drives, but with a custom firmware on them and a sticker that locks them so that you have to pay, so that you have to buy them directly from the vendor. Users that choose to use non-certified drives, they'll still work and they'll still be able to store data, but apparently they will lose the following: showing estimated drive health reports, volume-wide deduplication, lifespan analysis, automatic firmware updates, and more. 2024 and older models of Synology's Plus series will apparently not be affected by this change, but new devices will have this feature enabled. There apparently is already a workaround if you set up your unsupported drives in an older Synology NAS. Then migrate them over. They will not be locked out of those features, according to Tom's Hardware, which proves that this is absolutely not a hardware feature and is 100% a software lock.
Yeah, that's garbage.
Yeah, that is absolute trash garbage. And yeah, I think that's pretty poopy. In general, I've not been like a huge fan of Synology NASs. I don't know if you remember this, but one of the early things that I was super into, do you remember Windows Home Server?
Yeah.
Okay. I was super into Windows Home Server.
Yeah.
I loved it. It was easy to manage with a full graphical UI. It had a brain dead simple interface for backing up all the systems on your local network. The issue with Windows Home Server, aside from Microsoft abandoning it, was that Windows doesn't really have a great software RAID.
Yeah.
And Microsoft just never saw fit to build it. My understanding is that storage spaces at a certain level, if you are enough of a wizard administrator, might be kind of usable for something, but I have never personally had that experience with it, and apparently neither have a lot of people, but Windows Home Server was super cool. And one of the things that I liked about it was that it gave you all of the benefits of, one of these little NAS boxes that you could then buy from companies like Synology, like QNAP or whoever else. But you weren't locked to that hardware. You could plug in as many drives as you wanted. You could put an HBA in and just expand it. You could add more RAM. You could put in a faster CPU. You could have it do anything you wanted depending on how much performance you needed or how much storage you needed. And that's one of the things that always kind of bothered me about these lockdown NASs. To be clear, I understand why people buy them and I understand why people like them. They're pretty much ready to go out of the box. And we have done videos on them in the past where I've said, yeah, this seems pretty reasonable. But a lot of the time they're not that reasonable. And it appears to me to be fully intentional, where they will, not put an M.2 slot on that one, or they will not have a PCIe slot to make sure that you can't have 10 gig networking on that one that would otherwise totally work as a video editing NAS, for instance.
Yeah.
And so the holy grail for me has always been to have the benefits of a completely custom solution, running some Linux distro or whatever else with, ZFS with whatever fancy patches, and you've got all your virtualization running on it and whatever else, right? So having all the benefits of that, plus the benefits of just an easy kind of interface and a setup wizard and the simplicity that you get from these pre-done NAS boxes. Because right now you either have to learn a whole bunch of stuff that can be fun for some people, and that's great. If you're into that, that's awesome, and I think that's super cool, but not everybody's into that. Or you have to pay a lot of money for devices that appear to be planned obsolescence incarnate, very, very intentionally. And, this is something that has been very apparent to me about Synology's model for many, many years. And now they're basically saying the quiet part out loud by switching to this vendor certified, vendor locked down hard drive model. And
HexOS disclosure?
I already did.
Okay.
Yep. And I was getting to that, is exactly why I invested in HexOS, because I think you should be able to install something that is as simple to use as Synology, so it has that out-of-box experience and app support and ease of use factor, while also having the performance and the flexibility of a DIY NAS solution. And I think they've kind of nailed it, because they're going to have a subscription model for the software, but they will also have a more expensive one-time purchase model, and then you just have it forever, and you can just have whatever hardware you want in your HexOS NAS. Now, just because you have the license forever doesn't mean they will have no subscriptions, like they might introduce their own cloud service or whatever.
Yeah,
for
some
backup,
feature that requires
like
constant effort or expense on their end, so it has to be tied with a subscription.
Yeah, but in terms of the base software itself, once you own it forever, you will own it forever. They're apparently doing great, by the way. I am kind of blown away.
What's user feedback?
People have been really understanding.
Nice.
The community, not just the user community, but the developer community has rallied hard around HexOS, because they're just yeah. This is common sense. Why do we not have this? Someone's finally fucking doing it. I'm in. Apparently when we talked about them for the launch, they got just an avalanche of developer applications. And I don't mean like script kiddies who are like, I want to help develop HexOS. Like they showed me some of the portfolios.
To, like, work for them. I thought you meant okay.
Yeah.
I thought you meant like people creating things for the platform.
No, avalanche of applications from people who have portfolios that I was like, what?
Nice.
Like they could work anywhere they want.
Yeah.
Basically, or
That's
just
cool.
or just not work or whatever. Like no, like wow. Anyway, so yeah, they've got some really talented people working on it now. So anyway, before HexOS was even a twinkle in the eye of John and Eric and the guys over there, my kind of tech tips for the people solution to marry the DIY benefits with the ease of use software benefits was like, hey, we should do a video on that Synology like Hackintosh Hackology or what's it called? What's okay, hold on. The Synology. There's what's it called? Xpenology. I don't know if it actually still works, but it was a thing back when we did it. And there were some limitations, right? Like there was some challenges, like it would only work on certain hardware. There were some like weird hacky workarounds. And from my point of view, it absolutely was not a complete replacement for Synology. And to be clear, I didn't expect Synology to be like stoked that this was something we were making a video about, but we actually got as far as shooting the entire video. And the actual conclusion of it was like, yeah, if you want the best possible experience, you got to buy the hardware key for the lock here. But this is if you are, kind of willing to deal with some challenges.
You can adapt this thing you might already have.
Then you can install this on hardware that you already have, and it like kind of mostly works. And I think it would have actually sold a lot of Synology NASs because most people wouldn't have been willing to go through this work. But we ultimately never released that video because they came after us incredibly hard.
How did they know you were even making it?
I do not remember, to be perfectly honest with you. But we basically said, hey, yeah, we don't agree that us making a video about a thing that is common knowledge breaks any kind of agreement we would have with you of any sort.
And I don't think it does.
No, it really doesn't. And I wanted to just publish the video. To be full cards on the table here. I just wanted to say f it and just publish the video. But we had other voices internally who felt very strongly that at a somewhat vulnerable time for our company, we did not have strong cash reserves. We were not equipped to
fight,
go to war.
Yeah. And that's what they, unfortunately, and I'm making some guesses about when it might have been, and that might have been the right call at the time. But unfortunately, that's what they want.
Yes, and that's exactly what they want. These
companies use this as a tool. They don't actually want to end up in court with you.
So the compromise that we reached was that Synology would be dead to us at that point. And there have been a couple exceptions to that. I think someone's tech upgrade at some point included a Synology NAS, and I basically went, well, this seems like a bit of an exception. I'm not talking about it.
Yep.
And I'm not going to limit people's options for tech upgrades to like brands that I, get along with or whatever.
Sure.
Right. But other than that, I won't work with them. I'd need an apology before I would even talk to them, essentially.
Which has happened with brands before.
Well, yeah, of course, because usually what it comes down to is that, someone who works there has a chip on their shoulder or whatever, and that individual eventually moves on. And, the reality of it is that we're probably going to outlast most individuals in the particular role that they're in. And so we can just play the waiting game. I mean, that's what happened with NVIDIA.
Yeah.
NVIDIA, the entity, didn't want to mend fences. A couple particular people who were ass hurt moved on. And so we'll work with them. And I want to make it very clear, that is in spite of the fact that we are going to continue to cover them in a way that is fair and balanced and call them out when they do things that are wrong.
Have you talked to them since? Maybe we shouldn't talk about this on the show. Have you talked to them since that video went up?
No. I mean, why would I? There's nothing else to say. I already said everything I have to say. What are they going to say?
Knowing this current crew, I don't think that would make them run, which is cool.
No, I don't think so. I think
which is cool. Genuinely cool.
I think that this, because that's the thing, right? Is like,
I respect that actually a lot.
That doesn't mean that, you know, they have ignored it.
Oh, yeah.
They haven't heard what we've said. It just means that
guarantee they did, yeah.
They're looking for a path forward, and they're not going to let this poison everything else that we could possibly work together on.
Sounds good.
And, you know,
I can understand that being a tough thing, to be clear, but like, that's the you can't let relationships influence reviewing.
Well, no, I mean, that's the same.
You gotta do what you gotta do.
It's the same reason that we will, you know, continue to cover Apple, even though they have never seeded us a device or given us even a briefing or answered a question. But we'll continue to cover them. And I can absolutely not like their arrogance that they think that because they don't have an aligned worldview, they don't need to answer your questions or engage with you. Mm-hmm. That's totally valid. But if they make a good product, like, you know, AirPods Pro 2s, I absolutely love mine. And I say nothing but good things about all the good things about them, then you have to separate that. You have to separate sort of the corporate culture from the individuals who work there from the product. Those things can all be they can all be very different, and all of those differences can be very valid, but you can't let them bleed into each other as best you can at least. So long story short, Synology, hopefully you can go yourself in the longer term, because it will be as simple as just picking up not overpriced hardware and installing investment disclosure HexOS on it, and I will never have to say your name again, and good luck with that. And especially because you guys think it's cool to vendor lock hard drives on consumer systems, which on an enterprise system, I can at least kind of see it. Like if you have some, like, I don't know, disk shelf, like giant, you know, like rack-based SAN system or something like that, and the vendor's basically like, look, we've only validated this particular firmware revision and these particular models, and if you put something else in it, look, your warranty's invalid because that's all that we've validated. I think there's at least an argument to be made there, because the operation of that device, that entire device, is covered by the service agreement that vendor has with you.
It's a totally different scenario.
So it is actually their problem if something goes wrong with it. Totally get it. For a consumer who's backing up their photos to a freaking hard drive, no, I'm afraid I don't get that. I don't actually think that that's okay. All right, what else do we want to talk about this week, Mr. Luke?
We only had one main news topic. Should we talk about that one?
We have more than one.
Pretty sure
There's
we have
two.
one. They're kind of connected.
They are not connected.
They're a little bit connected.
They're not connected at all.
It's not all bad?
Yeah.
Is that not connected to the story above it being bad?
No.
Oh. I legitimately thought it was.
No, they're just totally unrelated.
Okay.
You pick whichever one you like, Mr. Luke.
Let's do the 5060 one.
Let's do it. So this is now the 5th or 6th big GPU launch since you took over the lab.
There's been 6 so far in this quarter, so I think that's correct.
Yeah. And how did you feel it went? Let's talk about sort of our process for evaluating product. So I want two answers. One is, how do you think because we did test the card. We uploaded a short circuit video looking at the 5060 Ti 16 gig.
Are we talking about the?
How'd your team do?
Oh, great.
Yeah.
I'm very happy with the lab. It's been a weird journey, because like I have quite a few teams at this point. I've never taken over a team though. Every team that I've had, like everyone on all of my teams other than the lab, I hired them.
Yeah.
All of them. So like this was a very new experience. And there were some things that like I tripped on at the start, because I'm just very not used to this. My first time doing that, all that kind of stuff. Getting used to new people, getting used to new processes. The lab does a lot of stuff. Getting used to that, trying to figure out like what the heck is even going on with different parts of it.
Yep.
I don't know if you remember, but there was a thing that I completely shut down, which was like literally most of the work that they did within the first week of joining.
Yeah, I'm sure we just tell the people.
Sure, yeah. I stepped in, and one of the first things I did was I said that I would have a meeting with every single person in the department, a one-on-one with every single person in the department before I made any drastic decisions. And then I got 2 one-on-ones in, paused all of the remaining one-on-ones, and did an extremely dramatic decision, which I don't think that was one of the trips, actually. I think that was the right move.
Yep.
And that was, I figured out like what percentage of time people were spending on different things, and it was coming out from like almost everyone. A huge percentage of it was short circuit.
Yep.
And short circuit is cool, but I'm looking at the cost and size of the lab. And if you try to look at the holistic cost of both the equipment, the space, the salaries, all that type of stuff, and then you apply the percentage of that lab's time that was being spent on short circuit, and the math just is really not mathing here.
Bad mathing.
So I was like, whoa, let's pause this if we can.
Which
for a
isn't
bit.
to say that we're not going to do labs testing on short circuit. We obviously just did.
We did like 30 of them over the last quarter or something.
But we had a lot of workflow things to figure out to smooth out that process before we could do it.
And we're still working on those things. Like we're hiring testers right now. We're in I don't know if the post is still up. If you're applying now, I mean, there's a chance, but it's probably too late. But we're interviewing testers right now.
Mm-hmm.
We're hiring 3. We just brought on testing coordinator.
Nice.
Which is going to be really nice as well.
Yep.
So that person's job is going to be, to keep the tests flowing. One thing I said the beginning, what I want them working on is mostly communication. Make sure people outside our department know what's going on. Make sure people inside our department know what they're supposed to be doing, know what's going on, make sure that things are flowing properly, all that kind of stuff. In the longer run, something that I want them working on is optimizing like station efficiency. And what I kind of mean by that is, say we have some GPU embargo.
Yeah.
It doesn't mean that every other station should stay cold. That's one of the ideas of having more testers as well.
Yeah.
Is even if the majority of the testers are all focused on one like crazy project, there should still be enough extra testers that we can keep the other stations kind of moving and keep things pumping through the lab. But yeah, I was like, okay, we're spending all this time doing this. There's no free time to work on process. There's no free time to do all this kind of stuff. Let's pause for like 2-3 months and really try to hammer this stuff out. We rewrote a ton of process. We redid a ton of different things and kind of got a better look of what we wanted in the future. When I first started with the department, I was looking sometimes hours forward. And then now at this point, I'm looking months, year plus forward. And there's some cool plans. But
okay.
This was a good, the 6 GPUs was a fantastic push.
Now let's talk about how things went with the 5060 Ti from like an overall execution outside of labs standpoint. You know what? Here, why don't I read through the notes? On April 16th, NVIDIA launched the 5060 family, which included the RTX 5060 with 8 gigs of RAM, the RTX 5060 Ti with 8 gigs of RAM, and the RTX 5060 Ti with 16 gigs of RAM. Even though these cards are out now, almost everywhere only lists the 5060 Ti 16 gig. The other 2 models are expected to, be physically present in the real world at some point, but nobody seems to know when. So we decided, not because the lab was not capable of doing the testing, as Luke already mentioned, the lab is fully capable of doing the testing. In fact, they did some testing for our short circuit video on the 5060 Ti 16 gig, but we decided that because we didn't feel that this situation was very consumer first, that we were not going to do a review, but instead did a rant style video about how this entire launch felt, not just the 60 class cards, but the 50 series in general, from the perspective, from several perspectives. From an NVIDIA partner perspective, we included a little bit of that. From a press perspective, and especially from a consumer perspective. One thing that we did not really include in the video, because I couldn't say this factually for certain, but one thing that we didn't include in the video is that my personal theory for why they rolled it out this way is that they want customer confusion. I think that they want a heap of reviews on the 5060 Ti 16 gig, right? And because this is the first member of the family that anyone can get their hands on. And they want those ones
few on the remaining
to be at the top of the search results. And then I believe that NVIDIA had no intention whatsoever of seeding the other cards in any kind of timely manner, or maybe at all, basically just leaving it to their board partners or leaving it to media outlets to go and source them on their own in drips and drabs, by which time there would be literally zero remaining excitement around the 5060 series, because even the Ti 16 gig was not exactly going to light anyone's world on fire in terms of the value proposition of it. That doesn't mean it's a bad card. It just means that it's not exciting anybody. And I think that the benefit for NVIDIA of this kind of confusion and of this of having something with a very similar model name have all the views, all of the SEO, all the algorithmic weight, is that people would see something affordable, 5060, 5060 Ti 8 gig, something sort of within their budget on the shelf, and go, oh, okay, so 5060, like, is that good? And they'd end up with a review of the 5060 16 gig that would look better than the thing that they're actually buying. That is my theory.
Is this counter to your theory from, I think, 4 WANs ago, where you're saying that reviewers don't matter anymore?
I think that...
Because I think that theory's wrong.
I think that NVIDIA thinks reviewers still matter, but not enough to do this whole thing properly. Or they think that reviewers can have an influence, and I think that this was an effort to actively work against it. So I think that is NVIDIA's intention, whether it would work or not.
Got it. That makes sense.
I think they wanted the perception of the 5060 series to be set around the performance of the Ti 16 gig, and then they could deliver the lower price of the other ones and hopefully keep those things separated from each other.
Do you remember another time, because I don't, when NVIDIA launched a card with no embargo?
Yes. One of the Titan cards, they did it. And I outright refused to make content about it. Yeah. I was like, this is completely unacceptable. And some people seem to get really confused. I went on a shadow ban spree. Anyone who said that our upset was because we're just like butthurt we didn't get a free card,
that's dumb,
got permanently banned, because that you're actually too stupid for me to listen to anything that you say ever again.
The value of a free card compared to like the average daily expenses at this company is hilarious.
It's actually trivial.
You're just Dan laughing in the background. That's just like clearly not.
The reason it matters, the reason that we have review embargoes and we have organization around a launch, is so that it benefits everybody.
It's fair play.
NVIDIA has time to brief the press on their side of the story. The press has time to verify that story and form their own thoughts and opinions.
Rather important.
And then everyone goes live with their equally equipped side of the story, and the consumer gets a balanced view that can be put together with time and care and attention, and will not be perfect. Launch reviews are never going to be perfect, because over the days and weeks and months and sometimes years after a launch, we're probably still going to be learning more about the product, but at least it's a starting point. And there's a huge benefit to consumers where they can go, okay, everyone had a fair shot at this. You know, whose coverage do I like the best? And they have a choice. And they don't have to just pick one. They can get a perspective from all of these different media outlets.
Which
and that
we suggest they do anyways.
Is a healthy ecosystem.
Yeah.
Providing a card on Thursday afternoon or whatever it was it Wednesday afternoon or Thursday afternoon?
I feel like it was Thursday, but I don't remember.
It doesn't matter. The point is providing a card over a weekend with a launch embargo Tuesday morning is A, not good for consumers because it means that everyone who's trying to get these videos out for embargo is going to have less time to validate NVIDIA's claims. And B, is just f***ing disrespectful. It's just completely disrespectful. And the truth is, it's not me. I'm not going to crunch over the weekend. We have the benefit of being a large enough organization now that I'm not the one who actually sits there and puts the cards onto the benches and makes the graphs and puts everything on a timeline, edits it. No, that's going to be my team. Utterly disrespectful.
And they do it. We've got passionate people,
Of
but
course.
like we don't want them to, which is why, in part, we didn't actually do the big LTT video for this card.
Yeah.
Because
it's just, and it's one of those things where it's like, look, if it was a one-time thing, right? And there was like a good reason. If NVIDIA was basically like, okay, no, hold on. If NVIDIA was a way smaller company, okay? Hold on. Let me pitch you a hypothetical, okay? And this product, let's say NVIDIA was more like a Bigscreen. You know Bigscreen? They make the Beyond VR headset.
By the way, do you have an iPhone?
What? Yeah.
I spent money for once, and I need to do a face scan.
Oh, you bought a Bigscreen Beyond
I bought
too?
a Bigscreen Beyond.
I might want to as well.
Dude, it's been so, sorry to derail. It's been so long since I've bought. I'm still riding on the Vive. And
Right.
I watched a bunch of content on the Bigscreen Beyond 2, and I couldn't get this thought out of my head of like, it's time.
It's really good.
It's time.
It's sick.
So I'm stoked.
So anyway.
I'm very stoked.
Okay, good. Then let's say it was Bigscreen.
Sure.
In the past, other than their software, they've only ever had like one hardware product. Okay?
Yep.
Now they've got, and it sold, my understanding is like pretty decent.
Yep.
But like, pretty decent, right?
Still, it's going to be
a niche product, though.
yeah.
Niche product. Okay. So if Bigscreen were to say, okay, here's the situation. We've got like We've got like 3 headsets. The bulk shipment lands like this day. We must launch it this day. Otherwise,
reasons we're screwed.
We are like out of cash.
Yeah.
We actually we have payroll that day. If we don't get pre-orders in, you're gonna love this thing. We are absolutely 100%.
The company will be gone.
We're 100% certain you're gonna love this thing. You've got like 4 days. Could you ask the team to work over a weekend? We are so confident that your independent, unbiased review is going to validate our claims that this thing is awesome. That we're, look, we're willing to work with people. I'll be like, okay, all right, it's not going to impact the coverage, but yeah, I'll make sure people are here on the weekend. We're going to try and hit this embargo because I think you guys are doing great things. Everything that I've seen about the product seems really positive. My experience with working with you is that you've been very honest in your assessments of the quality of the product and the way that you present it. All of these things align. Yeah, let's get everybody in on the weekend.
Yeah.
I'll come in on the Sunday night. We'll get the film, we'll get it shot. We'll get an editor in another time zone booked for like an overnight edit. Then we'll have a look at it with one of our editors in-house on Monday morning. Let's get this thing done, No problem. But that's not NVIDIA.
No.
NVIDIA had absolutely no reason whatsoever financially to have this launch on that day. Imagine, Luke, if you will, if NVIDIA had delayed the launch of the 5060 series for 3 weeks and given us darn near a month to work on our review. They would have launched the card and they would have all sold out. From a financial standpoint, there is no reason whatsoever that it had to launch that day. In fact, 2 of the 3 cards were not available at all. And my understanding is that another media, I don't want to name them, not because I don't want to name them, but because
You're not sure?
I'm not sure if it was them.
You look it up. Did what?
Okay, well, I heard through the grapevine, I have not verified this, that someone said that add-in board partners were explicitly told not to seed the other cards, even if they like did have samples.
Oh, yeah.
I can't remember who it was though.
I think it was.
Okay, I'm going to say it then. I'm going to say I think it was Hardware Unboxed.
But I'm not sure.
I'm not 100% sure, so please do not quote me on that. Anyway, the point is that NVIDIA clearly had absolutely no... Yeah, Elijah says that's right. Good.
Yeah, okay. Cool.
Okay, NVIDIA clearly has no sales incentive whatsoever. Not only that, but they are actively ensuring that we cannot test these cards. Well, how can I possibly assume anything other than bad faith, bad intentions, when you're actively working to keep information about these cards out of consumers' hands?
It's not like this isn't a pattern. As much as I praised them earlier for like, you know, if we can criticize them in that video and they will still work with us, that's very heads up. That's cool. That being said, this is a rather egregious pattern. I don't think that there has been...
Oh, wait. Elijah says, I don't know if Hardware Unboxed said that. We heard directly from board partners. Okay. Hathos says that was Hub, though, so maybe they heard the same thing. So take that for what it is. Take that for what it is.
I'm really not sure.
Okay.
But I at least since the 1000 series...
Hub apparently said it as well. Okay.
I feel like before then, but at least from the 1000 series, I haven't seen an NVIDIA launch that didn't have just like egregious falsehoods in the announcement.
I've seen some.
Since 1000 series?
Yeah.
What one?
Yeah, I mean, as much as people ragged on them about it, I don't think 3090 was particularly misrepresented. They said it was 8K capable with DLSS help, and it was. Did
they compare it to other generations? I got to look this up now.
I don't remember, but it was like very powerful compared to other generations, so there was no reason for them to fudge it.
I mean, they've had 1000 series was really good too.
Yeah, that's true.
They fudged that.
Yeah, that's
I don't know how much it matters.
Yeah, that's probably true. Overall, I think the 30 series was a pretty honest launch, and they seemed to be competing hard. They seemed focused because they had the new console generation, and they seemed very focused on beating it with laser precision. And other than that, no, I do agree with you.
Yeah, okay, fair enough. But yeah, it's like that I don't know, it's just...
But let's come back. Maybe there's other reasons. Maybe it's not financial, right? Like, what are the other reasons that NVIDIA could have for forcing this launch on this day, other than financial? Maybe an image reason. Maybe they promised that these cards would launch on that day. Well, then they failed that anyway, because you can't buy them anyway, and you can't even review them. Okay, so what other possible reason could motivate a company to? Does someone internally have like a KPI that they have to launch the cards in this quarter? Well, there's plenty of time left in this quarter. Like, what is the... I'm trying to understand what reason there could possibly be to give us 4 or 5 days or whatever it was, 2 of which being a weekend, to review these cards, other than just trying to hide information from consumers and out of a complete lack of respect for partners. Those are the only 2 reasons that I can come up with. Or just completely not fucking caring. Okay, so there's a third reason. That's it. That's all I got. So it's really hard. It's really hard for me to say anything other than that's not okay. That's not going to fly. And I've seen, another bad take, but not a bannable take. Another bad take is, okay, you guys you should never talk about NVIDIA again. You should never review an NVIDIA card again.
No, we absolutely still should.
They have like 80% market share in the discrete GPU space. We have to review things that people are going to buy anyway, so that we can make sure that if they want to know what's going on, that we can give them the what's up. Like, we're not just going to outright stop reviewing their products. And as I mentioned in that video, we're not even going to stop working with NVIDIA. We are going to work with NVIDIA because at the end of the day, they're overpriced, and I think they have a terrible attitude, but the products are mostly good. Like, how many of you have an NVIDIA GPU that you're really happy with? I bet a lot of you do. All right, then. So we're gonna
happy with mine.
So we're gonna have to work with these guys. But that doesn't mean that just because we're gonna work with them, that we're not gonna call them out when they do something that's unacceptable. All right. What else was there in here? There's some silver line. Ah, yes. Okay. So we decided not to post a review. So we still have unboxings, and we will do those for the other cards once they land. You can also head to LTTLabs.com. We'll have a full list of benchmarks for these cards once they are ready. Any big updates on the Labs website lately, or not really?
Not since the ones that we posted last, I think.
PSU Circuit's been doing great.
Yeah.
Channel's been getting more views and stuff. That's pretty cool. Yeah, okay. So there's definitely some new articles and stuff. We've got a review of the RM1000X up there.
We're planning an article right now based on that email that Lucas sent you, which is a thing that we've been talking about doing for a while, which is we want to take the whole build in public model and apply it to the lab a little bit. So there's a couple ways that this will be showing its face soon. One of them is we're planning. So I don't want to leak it. We'll probably be talking about it next week's WAN show, but I want it to be Lucas's words because it's his stuff, not mine. But we're planning some potential changes to power supply testing. That's all I will say now. But those details and the changes that will be happening are going to be talked about in a Labs article.
Cool.
And then there will likely be a forum post accompanying it so that people can give feedback.
I love it.
And we're going to be saying like, hey, this is the situation that we're dealing with.
Yep.
This is the plan that we are planning on implementing.
Let us know.
But let us know.
I want to do so much more of that. Dude, I was disheartened to find out that the acoustic chamber's done.
Why were you disheartened?
Because I didn't know.
Oh.
And we didn't make a video about it.
Well,
or write an article about it.
We're going to be writing an article.
Get pictures of it being worked on.
Well, there wasn't a lot. We just glued panels.
Well, yeah, but it made a big difference, did it not?
It did.
Okay.
Yeah. But there's going to be an article.
Fine, good.
Yeah,
But I would have liked to make a video about it.
So this was part
Keeping
2.
all the cool stuff for his website while my videos languish. While I'm making videos about fire trucks, I'm so desperate.
You can no, you can't spray the sound chamber. Sorry. Maybe the RF chamber. The RF chamber could probably take getting sprayed. It's metal.
Okay.
The outside of it?
Why would we do that?
I don't know. Fire truck videos, whatever.
Oh my God.
But yeah, there's going to be an article on the sound chamber stuff, and there might be a short circuit, maybe, and the short circuit would feature what we're calling Labs experimental graphs. So the graphs will indicate that these are tests under construction, effectively.
Okay, sure.
So it's a way for us to try to do stuff and put stuff out there that we're pretty confident in, but we're still kind of evaluating a little bit. So there will be an article talking about the current state of our sound testing, and there will be a short circuit video coming out with some of that sound testing in it. The article will explain what we're doing, how we're doing it, and we'll collect feedback. And then the video will show experimental graphs, and we can get some input on what the graphs show. Can people understand what we're trying to convey with the graph? That type of stuff. Yeah, it's coming along. Things are happening. It'll be good.
All right, hold on. Sorry, I'm just.
But again, we'll probably talk about that more, probably on WAN, when those articles are actually posted up. So I don't want to talk too much about it right now.
All right. So 4060 Ti 16 gig. There are some silver linings. According to Hardware Unboxed
5060 Ti.
And our numbers, sorry, yeah, thank you. It appears to range from 10 to 20% faster than the 4060 Ti in both 1080p and 1440p, while being $70 cheaper than last gen at MSRP. The issue is whether you can get it at that price. The good news, though, the even gooder news, is that there is another card that you can buy for 1080p and even light 1440p gaming that appears to be getting much more affordable. Even though one user posted on r/IntelArc who was upset about not being able to find stock, several people in the comments said they are getting them no problem with minimal markup over MSRP. So our notes here say, go shopping for a B580. So here, let's take my laptop for a little spin. Intel B580. No, don't stop it. Okay, Intel B580. How are we doing here? What do you think, Luke? Here, before don't look at the screen. Don't look at the screen.
Okay.
What do you think? Do you think B580 will be in stock?
No.
No.
I'm
Okay.
gonna go with no.
If it's in stock,
Okay.
let's create a branching
Yep.
situation here. If it's in stock, bearing in mind that its MSRP, like Intel's MSRP price for a base card, is $250. What do you think the price will be?
$350.
$350. Okay, let's go shopping. Okay, well, the Gunner is in stock and is $379, but this Onyx is $329. This one is $319.
The last time I looked, there was no stock, so this is kind of cool that there is actually stock.
In stock.
$319 is really good.
I don't know who the crap Onyx is,
Me neither.
but their Odyssey Arc 12 gig card is $320.
Wow, that's smoking.
Okay, so hold on a second.
But it's on sale, too.
Acer Nitro, add to cart, $319.
Decent looking cooler, too.
Intel, oh, hold on.
It's a stock.
What is
Never
this? See price and cut, $395. Get real. Okay, what else we got here? Okay, this one's out of stock. This one for $269 is out of stock. Okay, but hold on a second. Hear me out here. Because this is where things get crazy. Apparently, Intel Arc is still experiencing some shortages in the US, but in other markets, apparently it has chilled out a lot. And that appears to be very true. Check this out. Intel Arc Limited Edition,
In Canada.
$359.
So that's CAD.
That is Canadian
Whoa.
dollars. Hold on a second here.
Whoa.
Dude, I looked like 2 weeks ago and they're out of stock everywhere.
See what the stock is at the individual places.
Hold on. CAD to USD. That is $10 over MSRP, which in normal times
Still over MSRP.
would not be that exciting to me.
Yeah.
But in the Tanao times is actually quite exciting. Let's go ahead and check. They have one in Edmonton West. They have one in Victoria. Okay, not a ton of stock.
Okay, so they're not out of stock now, but there's like almost none.
But can I order it online? Added one to your cart. I can order this in Canada right now for $260. And that
That's pretty good.
is a lot of gaming card for $260.
Yeah.
So I believe that we are finally seeing some inventory coming in of these Intel Arc cards, even if it's not enough to satisfy the appetite of the US market, which apparently is experiencing a surge in retail shopping right now. So the timing could be part of it. Intel might have allocated enough B580 to the US only to realize too late that US shoppers are hoovering up consumer products right now in anticipation that pricing could go up due to the tariff situation. And I've been experiencing that firsthand on LTTStore. So reminder, we have extended the ShipStorm sale event, worldwide free shipping on orders over $150 to help our American friends down there get anything that they need before whatever impacts ultimately affect us from the tariffs, as well as to, say, hey, buddy, hope you and the rest of the world love to have products from LTTStore.com. So ShipStorm sale event still ongoing and has been crazy. Has been crazy. So I am optimistic for Intel Arc. It's like, okay, new CEO, what's his name? Lip Bhutan, I think, something like that.
Not sure.
Okay, doesn't matter. The point is, if you're watching right now, if you happen to be watching, if anyone, you've got the Intel CEO in your DMs, okay, you clip this, you send it to them. Please don't give up on Arc desktop.
Yeah.
Gamers need you. The gaming market needs you. Okay. It might be too late. To bring back the higher end Battle Mage discrete GPUs. It is not too late for Celestial. Okay. Do it. Do the full lineup for Celestial, because that team has been working so hard.
Cooking, dude.
The fact that in a few short years they have gone from Intel HD graphics essentially, in terms of the
discrete competitor,
to a legitimate discrete competitor. I know the margins aren't great right now. We know that for a fact because we know the die sizes, okay, and we know what process it's built on. It's built at TSMC, so they're under the same cost pressure that AMD or NVIDIA are on these Arc GPUs. I can understand why they might not be that incentivized to build a ton of them, but they're onto something. They're onto something. This is good. This is important. This is a billion-dollar industry that, as far as I can tell, NVIDIA is completely not paying attention to right now. They are on complete autopilot. Do it.
I want to show one more thing for the lab site before we move on, because I forgot that I could show this. Hold
on, one more thing. Stephen J says, Linus, Memory Express also has a bunch of B580 challengers on their site for 409 CAD, which is about 35 or 40 US dollars over MSRP, but that's like an OC card.
Yeah.
So that's not even...
So it's probably going to be over MSRP anyways.
Not even ridiculous.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I see them here. Here. So here's, they have these challengers as well. ASRock Challenger OC.
Nice.
Yeah.
Those even look sharp.
They have more stock? Oh, yeah. Oh, dude, they got tons of these.
Let's go.
Like 10 plus at like every store. I could literally go to the Langley store, walk in and buy one right now. For here, 409.
Oh, but that's such a normal sounding thing, but just hasn't been for a while.
You can't because it's closed because it's a holiday.
Oh, got
Get wrecked, Linus.
So for $46 over MSRP, I could have a Challenger OC card when they open tomorrow.
Yeah. Speaking of things being not the right prices, remember, I think it was 2 weeks ago, we talked about the bring your own price feature for the Labs website?
Yes.
This is not yet. Oh, okay. This is not.
I wouldn't have had time to process it yet anyway.
This is not ready yet. This was a hackathon project. So Liam, the same person who championed it internally originally, he mentioned, I think he got it from a comment somewhere or something, but he was the one that brought it up in the meeting. He then chose this as his hackathon project and made a version of it. Now, before you're like, oh, I don't like how this thing or that thing works. It was a hackathon project. Leave it alone. It has not gone through UX, UI, any of that kind of stuff. But this is, so you can see add prices. There's a button here. It's 15 seconds. So just prepping you a little bit. You've got these cards, these, whatever. Okay.
Okay. Okay. Here we go.
Plug in your own prices for the cards that are listed.
Buddy. Oh, buddy.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, buddy.
Sick. Close it, and then the graph updates. And it works. Hackathon project functional. You can disable or enable price per frame. We were kind of thinking that Dan brought this up. Dan Siegel on the team.
That's pretty cool.
Was thinking that it should probably just add a line. So it should show all the previous data, but add a line so you can still see the other things. I think that's a pretty neat idea. The modal could look better, whatever. None of that. It's a hackathon. Nobody cared.
That's pretty cool. Okay.
It's not priority number one. It's not coming soon. Go away.
Can I propose maybe a fundamental problem?
Sure.
I know. This is a big
Not really. We have lots of other stuff to work on.
Good. Okay. Okay. I think this is going to be somewhat controversial because I think a lot of the audience is going to disagree with me on this.
Okay.
But, oh boy, how do I say this without causing a stir? I felt that was an accurate way to assess FPS per dollar and price to performance until I thought about it more. I think you need to think about it more because this was something that kind of blew my mind when I was trying to wrap my brain around, and this would have been way back in the day, okay? I believe the card that we were discussing was, what was it? It might have been the 8800 Ultra. Do you remember the 8800 Ultra? It was the 8800 GTX with a different plastic shroud on it. And it was like overclocked 10% or something. And it was like $300 more or something like that. Those numbers might be a little bit wrong, but the fundamentals are right. That it was the same GPU on the same PCB with functionally the same cooler, but a cooler shroud for hundreds of dollars more. Okay, 8800 Ultra. And I was working on our PC like configurator, and I was like adamantly opposed to a card like that. I was like, this is actually stupid. And all you got to do is get MSI Afterburner and turn it up 10%, which every 8800 GTX will do. So why does anyone care about this at all? We shouldn't even stock it. Was pretty much my perspective on it. I was like, this is the stupidest thing ever. No one should buy it.
Okay.
But hear me out. While the FPS per dollar of an 8800 Ultra and an 8800 GTX, if you look at it this way, $1,000 versus $700, and this one gets 10% more performance for what would it work out to? 40% more price. Basically, it's a stupid thing for completely stupid people. But, and this was explained to me in a way that I kind of was combative against and didn't understand for a while until it finally clicked. Well, that math is actually completely flawed, because most people are buying a computer system. And in the context of, hold on. No, trust me. In the context of your entire computer system that costs $3,000, spending another $300 to have 10% more performance could actually make perfect sense.
Okay.
So for that reason, I think we actually need to consider the cost of the system when we do these calculations, because otherwise I think that because the cost of that FPS is not just the GPU. That is not actually accurate.
Unless you're doing an upgrade.
If you are doing an upgrade, it kind of is. But that comparison would realistically, because like you still paid for that system though.
I don't think just because you do the math one time that you can't consider anything else in the scenario.
Anything else in the scenario?
Like, of course, you have to consider your total system cost, and the impact of that difference on the total system cost might be X percentage of the total system cost that you're expending. But that I don't think that makes the frame for dollar equation irrelevant. I think it makes it
misleading,
seem more drastic than it is. But I think that's up for the user to understand. But we could help communicate that.
I don't think a lot of them do. And that's the challenge, is every time I bring up this argument, I have people kind of, again, I'm sorry, not understanding it, because they seem to be.
Is that something we can solve by communicating to the users?
Can we
say on there, like, make sure that you consider? What if we suggested that people put in the total system cost?
I think that would be fine, because my issue is in its current form, it feels like a graph that doesn't start at zero.
You're like too zoomed in. Yeah.
Exactly.
Or something like that. Yeah.
That's the best. I think that's the most succinct way of explaining what I'm trying to, the point I'm trying to make here.
No, I think your point is super valid. I think I don't think that means don't build it, in my opinion.
Oh, no, it doesn't mean that at all.
Yeah, to like change how you communicate it or something like this.
It means we need to fundamentally think about how we are presenting this information to make sure that people aren't getting the wrong impression.
Yeah. That's super fair. I think like, let me see here. I'm going to bring it back up. I bet you could almost solve it by like just to the, can you see my mouse? Just to the left of this box, you could put like total system cost with this card, or make it more simple than that.
Yeah.
But like inform them of what to put in the box.
Yeah.
You could maybe even have examples or something. I don't know. We could do a little bloggy post explaining how people will do it, but then, that'll be buried 2 years after it's posted and no one will see it. But we can like try to help guide people as much as we can. But I don't think that means
we should still build the feature.
Yeah, but I understand. Yeah, and I think that's a good point.
Hathos has a really great example in the Floatplane chat that uses real math.
Sure.
My recent build was $7,000. Of that, we don't know what currency they're talking, so I don't know, but probably a lot. But the GPU was $3,500. Had I gone with a 9070 XT, I would have 63% of the gaming performance I have today at 58% of the cost. So oddly enough, Linus's argument works.
Yeah. No, his argument definitely works. I don't think it's odd even. It just definitely works.
Yeah.
But it's like, but that's, okay. So I kind of defaulted to that being something that people would consider when they're looking at this stuff. But I understand the argument that they won't. So, okay.
And the challenge with upgraders
communicate to people
is that I think that
it still applies. Just
especially at the high end, the numbers are going to be kind of skewed.
Yeah.
Because if you aren't building a new system, you aren't actually getting all of that performance, because you're bound to be bottlenecked by the rest of your system.
This is where I was kind of, okay, so fair enough, but this is kind of where I was thinking, like, I was hoping people were understanding the whole equation as well, because if you're upgrading, you're probably flipping your GPU too.
Probably.
So now it's really, the price is really the delta.
Yes.
So it's like, but I want people to.
But how do we do this without it being like a macro laden Excel sheet that you like punch? I just want
like an article you have to read.
Like I want to, like a user manual, like a PDF you download before you interact.
Here's your user manual for your 5 text boxes.
You have to scroll the way through the page and certify that you have read the user manual before you interact with this page, right? Like, I just want to make sure that we are considering.
Yeah. No, that's all good.
The different ways of doing the math here. Because I want this to be a really useful tool, and I don't want anyone to go, oh yeah, well, okay, man, what would be an example of like where they would accidentally spend too much? Probably that wouldn't happen, because I think it mostly damages the value proposition of the higher end stuff.
I think it would generally skew down.
But I'd hate for people to, like that example in the chat, I'd hate for people to spend $1,000 on their computer and then buy the thing for $100 that performs, oh man, how do I explain this? Whatever. The point is, at a certain point, if you're spending enough on the rest of your system, there's better value to be had by actually spending a little bit, but a lot more on your GPU. Like you could get a better value spending double on your GPU, $200 versus $100 for a GPU that performs only 20% better, because now your budget is $1,200 and is 20% better versus $1,100 and it's 20% less or whatever. 20% less.
Depends on your tasking, right? Like if you're doing something that's super, super CPU heavy, that might not be true, but then it's true for the CPU instead. It depends on the thing that you're focusing on.
We'll figure it out. Guys, we're going to figure it out.
Yeah, there has to be some way.
There has to be a way to present this information and make sure that we don't bamboozle.
Probably a variety of ways.
We don't bamboozle everyone into buying a B580.
Yeah.
That's the point I'm trying to get to. If you're spending $500 on your base platform, you buy a B580, right? But if you're spending $2,000 on your platform and you're buying a B580, it's the best bang for the buck.
You're doing something wrong.
It's the best bang for the buck in a vacuum against other GPUs. But in the context of that $2,000 system, it is not the best bang for the buck. And you are leaving a ton of performance and a ton of wasted budget on those other things completely on the table, regardless of whether you're buying them today or you bought them already. It's not a good balance. I want to help people find a balanced configuration.
Yeah, like we're going to be talking about this at the all hands, so a little bit of a spoiler, but like one of the things that the lab's website wants to work on over the next who knows how long is trying to help get people to final decision more. So right now it's a really good info dump page for nerds.
Yes.
But it doesn't really help you, which is great, but it doesn't really help you get to a final decision
doesn't
necessarily.
Guide me.
It can refine you down a little bit. Maybe if you use the comparison page properly and stuff, it can help get you sort of there, but it doesn't really drive you to a final decision. And there's a number of things that we can do better or do more of, do differently, whatever, that can help get us there. There's a ton, really. One of them is these types of things. So we want to do more of it. Someone mentioned a unique username said maybe also consider power consumption if you want to overcomplicate it. I think that's a different chart. I think that is something that we could do.
We're not going to total cost of ownership analysis and try to integrate, on the top x-axis, like the acoustics and like we're going to end up with a chart nobody can read.
Yeah.
I think it's already going to be complicated when we try to work in this messaging around total system cost. But it is something that I would like to see us integrate.
I think there's ways to do it. Like I think there's even things that we could do where like if you put in
the wizard version.
There could maybe be a wizard version. That's more dev time.
In the graph version, it could basically be that, and we expect people to kind of figure it out on their own, or they could have an input field for whatever. But in the wizard version, you basically just go, hey, here's my system. Or like, here's how much my system cost. Here's my config and how much I paid for it. Recommend the best bang for the buck GPU upgrade. Because then we have all the information. We know what kind of budget you're shopping in. And we can just be like, yeah, this may be surprising, but you actually are best off with a RTX 5090. Because anything else would be sort of leaving a ton of performance on the table.
System. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like go to the beach in dress shoes.
I drank like 3 of these today. I'll be right back.
You wash them, yeah. Something we could do as you're getting up and walking is make it so that this might be really, really annoying, but we could make it so that there's general expectations for prices for GPUs. And if you put that in instead of a system, it could put a little warning triangle. And the warning triangle would link you to the article explaining why he understands now. But it could link you to the article explaining why you should probably put in your system costs. But then it's up to the user, right? The user could just choose to ignore it. Where's this way? Nice. The user could just choose to ignore it and then just look at the GPU in a vacuum because that will still be interesting for people. That is still a useful and interesting number. It just could be misleading when you're looking to buy a whole computer. So, yeah. I don't know. There's a variety of ways that we could do it. Some of them are very annoying on the dev team, like the one that I just mentioned. So I don't know the dev team and anyone doing data entry. So I don't know if we necessarily actually want to do that because it's super tedious. But there's probably a variety of other ways of doing it as well. So we'll figure it out. But yeah, there's a ton of things that we can do with the labs website. We're planning on a lot of stuff. I probably should stop talking, to be completely honest, because every time I talk about potential future features for for anything, all that anyone talks about in
Just drop the potential
in chats, they completely drop the potential. They assume it is the number one priority thing that we're working on now, when like in reality, a lot of the tasking for high priority stuff for the lab right now is like working on better graphing tools for the local team and improving some of the data entry stuff that local team has to do in order to get articles up, and doing some revisions to some of the product pages that we currently have, like introducing new graphs to the power supply verticals, doing some revamping stuff maybe to keyboard and mouse because they haven't been touched in a long time, things like that. Not the like sexy new feature development stuff. So but it's coming. It'll happen.
In summary, buy an Intel Arc B580.
In every scenario.
Yeah, in every scenario, because it's always the best bang for the buck.
Yeah. There you go.
Yes, I washed here.
Nice. Yeah.
Or it's pee.
One of the two.
One of the two. Or both. I could have washed poorly.
I was going to say
true.
both.
That's possible.
Just
I mean, I guess
do
there are
one
other bodily
hand.
fluids it could have been more than just water and pee.
At least 3.
Actually, that would have taken longer.
Good.
You could have started while you're walking.
I didn't know for sure that the building was empty, so
That's even more reason to.
yeah, I don't need.
This is your building, Linus.
Look, I have enough.
HR's gone.
You come to my house.
HR's gone home. We talked about this.
It's after hours.
It's after hours.
I have enough scandals when I didn't actually do anything. I don't need to actually expose myself in the office.
Oh man.
All right. What are we supposed to be doing?
Let's explain merch messages.
Yes, merch messages. Well, I can see that quite a few of you have figured them out already.
Oh.
How are your fingers doing there, Dan?
Pretty good. It's not quite as bad as last week.
Well, I haven't reminded the people that there's free shipping on LTTStore.com.
Now it's going to be as bad as last week.
I'm sorry. Free shipping on LTTStore.com on all orders over $150. That is worldwide. We are extending the deadline. It is now until Tuesday, April 22nd at 10 a.m. Pacific time. This is largely because the team has been doing an incredible job getting orders out, and we are less concerned that those orders are not going to make it over the border before May 2nd, which is when, according to the current guidance, a bunch more tariff stuff is supposed to kick in or something like that. So we've got a bit more time to take in orders that we will be able to get over before any tariffs will impact the costs on them. So now is a better time than ever to check out the MCM Essential Solution, which is running at just $80. We also have our magnetic cable management starter kit.
$15.
Which is just to give you guys kind of a taste. You can check it out. You get a power bar key, so that is for those little keyhole things. You put it in there, you screw it on, and they're also great for holding up anything that uses a 1/4-20 mount. So it's threaded for that. So
right,
you could mount a camera with it.
Yeah.
Nice strong magnet.
Yeah, the base just unscrews. And then it's like a circle with a...
Yep.
Yeah.
Super, super handy cable tie holder, medium and small arches, and with a bunch of the different grip plates, so you can get an idea of exactly what it is that you would want. Great time to pick up a commuter backpack. This has been one of the top movers, and of course, there's all the classics, right? Northern Lights desk pad available in any size you want. We've got the great configurator on there, so that you can see how it's going to look on your desk depending on the width that you have, what kind of desk pad you want. You can move it around. You can add a monitor. We still have that, right? Oh yeah, there it is. Show peripherals. You can kind of see what it's going to look like. That is a fantastic little tool that the team whipped up. The OG backpack, it's been surprising to me. I thought the commuter backpack was going to cannibalize it.
Were you talking about the desk configurator?
Yeah.
Oh, it was just Conrad.
Oh, great job, Conrad. So the OG backpack, I thought the commuter was going to cannibalize it. It has actually caused the OG backpack to
really
go up in sales.
That kind of makes sense to me, actually. I would have originally assumed the same as you did, but I get why, I think.
Why? I don't.
Because if you see a review, because there's some people that have covered it, and you know, people will talk about it, whatnot, about this good backpack, you might look into it and then go, I wanted a bigger one, and then go, oh, the same company made a bigger one. It looks great. I'll get that one.
Right. I guess we've gone beyond just our audience at this point. So that didn't really. Yeah. I sometimes it's hard for me to wrap my brain around that.
That is a bit of a newer thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This is pretty wild. We have a big shipment of blank shirts coming, which is good because a lot of them are out of stock, including tall. And
I think the tall is I think we pushed that one out of stock too recently.
Our business team has apparently been getting a ton of inquiries from just like random people who work at random companies that are like, yeah,
oh, they want the blanks.
Your blanks are like way better than like what all of our corporate apparel uses.
Let's go.
We have not found a better balance. So like, do you guys do that? And we're like, no, but I mean, first time for everything.
It was a good week or so.
Lots more coming.
Lots more coming. 3 days.
Luke. Are there going to be anything other than just black? Because I'm only going to have black shirts.
I see that.
Yeah.
I tried one on the other week. It might have been yesterday.
Oh, he's
wearing day before.
Coach Potato.
Yeah, they didn't give it to me.
Oh, all right.
Because there aren't any in stock.
Wait, there's a tall...
different color of t-shirt.
Oh, that's cool.
Okay, we're working on it. We're working on it. Okay.
I'm stoked.
Anyway, the point is you can also pick up a scribe driver. Spoiler, Precision Multibit is one of the ones that is almost guaranteed to go up in price if the tariffs do get implemented the way that we currently anticipate that they will. So now would be a really good time to pick up a Precision. Anyway, where was I going with that? Right. So if you want to send a merch message, all you got to do is add some items to your cart, and you will see the merch message box. You go ahead and leave a message, and it will go to producer Dan, who will respond to it or curate it for me and Luke. By the way, when you're in the cart, don't forget the bonus bin. You can get stickers. Cool. Dan, do you want to show us how merch messages work by reading out a couple curated ones?
Yeah, sure. I wasn't sure if you covered this at the top of the show, but I got this one very easily. Linus,
the incoming's blowing up now.
I know. Linus, do you think NVIDIA will ever increase the stock of 5000 series GPUs to meet demand, or do we all just give up hope until the next series?
So I don't know how much truth there is to this, but I read an article that someone wrote somewhere for some publication. I forget who it was, and I forget what site it was. So I don't know how credible it was. But what I read was that their Blackwell data center GPUs have not been particularly well received. And some of their customers that had bought into Blackwell heavily before NVIDIA was shipping it have been disappointed by the power and cooling requirements and general bugginess, and have actually been preferring to fall back to Hopper-based systems. What that would indicate to me, if true, and this was speculation from that article, so I'm not going to take credit for it. But what that could mean is that NVIDIA might be incentivized to push some of their wafer bookings for Blackwell to consumer GPUs rather than their more lucrative AI enterprise and data center GPUs.
Interesting.
If that is the case, and this was weeks ago, so if that is the case, then sometime in the now a few weeks, we could potentially see a dramatic loosening of supply for 50 series, and it does appear that it's kind of happening already. Not in the US so much. again, just like with Intel Arc, it seems like the US is a little late to catch up, which I think they're not really used to. Like, I think other countries are like super used to, an MSRP being announced and availability being announced and then being like, okay, well, I guess some months from now we'll
Get it for some dollars.
get it for some amount of dollars. But I think there's just so much pent-up GPU demand in the US from just years of drought that it's just hoovering up anything that anyone can ship into it. So things do seem to be loosening up a little bit on 50 series, but I think there's a lot more work for NVIDIA to do to help to stabilize pricing at somewhere near MSRP. And if they are not selling through as much of their Blackwell data center GPUs as they would hope, it would certainly be in their best interest to use those wafers to make desktop GPUs rather than just, I don't know, try to renege on their contract or whatever. Like, they're still selling desktop GPUs profitably. It's just not as profitable.
Right.
Now, how about some announcements?
Oh, are we only doing one merch message?
Well, we're doing
Apparently.
a new method.
We're doing a new method.
Just read the CW.
Just read the thing. Okay, so
Read just the CW.
what does it go?
one.
F yourself, San Diego. Is that just read the thing?
Read the line, Bart.
Read the Cowabunga. Sorry, what is it? I didn't do it.
I think that's what it was.
I
Yeah.
think it's I didn't do it. Okay, sorry. What am I supposed to be reading?
Just the CW one.
Where is it?
Just
And
this one
now
right here.
a segue to this.
Oh, but I just did that.
Oh, okay.
Did you?
Yeah, I think so. You have until Tuesday to get LTTStore over 150 of the magnetic cable management. Yeah, I talked through it.
Okay, cool.
Go to LTTStore.com and make sure that you use this opportunity to gear
Yeah,
up.
I think you did do this.
Yeah, I did do it.
All right.
Okay.
Hi,
then,
Luke.
Then it's 2 merch messages.
Two merch.
When did it become 2?
Well, wait, what's the float plane announcement?
That comes after a merch. I didn't agree to any of this. I don't know what's happening.
They changed it on us.
Oh, there's a whole.
It could be 1 merch message up here.
Oh, I see.
This could be 1.
We'll do 2.
But I thought we'd give people a
I think we'll
longer
do-
So
break.
there's a
and do
thing.
2.
There's like an agenda now.
Yeah.
Wow, that's so professional. In a
Yeah.
document and everything.
There was before, but
Wow.
now it's different.
None of us read it apparently for like a long time.
I mean, yeah, why would I?
Exactly. That's what I said.
Because I write them for me, and then I don't read them anymore because they're for my reference.
It's like, man, we're all gonna gloss over this during the show.
Yeah, I thought it was just like a checklist for the preparation of the doc to like make sure that we kind of knew what we were going to be talking about. I didn't think it was for the actual hosts.
I told them that we will also never read it in the future, so they just need to tell us when there's a change.
Yeah.
Yep.
Tell me, and then I tell you. You guys don't even have
Yeah,
to
that
worry
could
about
work.
it literally ever.
Yeah, let's
Sure.
do that.
Sure.
Yeah, because realistically, Dan's going to be here, because if he wasn't here, he would end the streak, and there's no way he's going to allow that to happen. Look at this guy. Look at this man. He's cold. He's calculating. He's cryptic. He's commanding.
That one doesn't start with a K. Okay. Now we do another merch message because now we're immediately out of order. It's all gone wrong.
Yeah.
Okay. Hit me, Dan.
Oh, world class. Hi, Luke. Do you often talk about gaming or dopamine addiction and the harm it does? Have you read Dopamine Nation or Anxious Generation? Your hunches and references line up well with the research.
Oh,
Wow.
that's good to know. I haven't read either of them. I've heard of both of those, but I haven't read either of them. But I'm happy that I'm not so far off. To be honest, I think it's pretty obvious. I suspect most people know. They just don't do anything about it.
I suspect you overestimate
lose.
the capacity of most people.
All right, fair enough. That might be true.
George Carlin's
be
famous
true.
bit. Think about the averagest person you know. Half of all
Yeah.
people are dumber than that. Yeah, no, it's
that's a little rough.
And if you've the really interesting research is how dramatically people overestimate where they fall on an IQ bell curve. How like dramatically over half of people will think that they are above 100 points when actually that is not possible because that's literally not how that scale works at all. It's
Rough.
pretty interesting.
Rough.
Well, the thing is you have to be smart to know that you're not that smart. You know?
Something that's interesting to me, and this is not exactly in line with what you were saying, but something that's interesting to me is the like, if you're like, I'm in the 75th percentile for performance band at this thing,
Mm-hmm.
compared to someone in the 99th percentile, you
You are
probably
an absolute scrub.
suck.
Yeah.
But someone who's in the like 99.7, versus someone who's 99.0, the 99.0 person probably kind of sucks compared to the 0.7.
Yeah.
Like the final little bit is insane.
Yeah.
Like it's
Like how much better
crazy.
Connor McDavid is
Yeah.
than even someone who is better than, is a 1 in 100,000 hockey player.
Yep.
Like it's,
Not close.
yeah.
Like to the point where he could toy with them.
Yeah.
Like it's wild.
And does
man.
on a regular basis. He's
Yeah.
the best hockey player in the world.
Yeah. It's anyways, it's
Scrappy DP says Ovechkin. So hear me out. Super Mario. More goals per game. Fighting back injury, literally recovering from cancer. Way more goals per playoff game. He played in the dead puck era. Super Mario. Way more dynamic player. Way more assists, second only to Gretzky. Actually, my favorite hockey player. Not even close.
pretty basic.
Not even
in
close.
my opinion.
Not even close.
I like it. But yeah, I don't know. My line that I'll say again is you are constantly at war. You're at war with many, many, many billion-dollar companies that are fighting for your brain, and they want you to suck.
Yeah.
And it's your job to not suck.
Went from not playing for 4 years, literally sipping coolers, and eating potato chips, to acquiring the franchise that he played for, put on his skates, put up numbers.
I didn't know he owned the team while he played for it.
Super Mario.
That's sick.
Literally came out of retirement to like help the team that he had acquired.
That's dope.
The guy is actually an absolute Chad.
That's pretty sweet.
Also, I can never find the bloody clip of it.
Is that he got a
It's-
back injury moving his couch, right? And then he went to the game like right after. Is that?
I
is that
don't
right?
remember. I don't know that about him. It may be true.
I don't remember.
But the there's this like 4,000 IQ clip of him where he doesn't actually score or get an assist, and I've never been able to find it again. But it just about made my jaw hit my keyboard when I saw it. It's unfortunately not an NHL clip, so I've had a really hard time tracking down where it was from. But basically, he's rushing to the crease, and his right winger passes, and Lemieux picks up his stick, looks at nothing, looks at nobody, picks up his stick so that the puck will go through him, and his left winger bangs it into a completely empty cage because he just had 4,000 IQ, knew
so
where
sick.
absolutely everybody was on the ice, and made that happen without even touching the puck. It's crazy.
That's so sick.
Also,
And to
Harry, you're
do
wrong.
that-
The rest of the world cares plenty about hockey. They just don't know it yet.
And to and to do that while knowing that you will get no credit
Oh, yeah.
is so sick.
Dude, so cool.
That's dope.
So cool. Yeah, if anyone can remember and like find the clip I'm talking about, I would be so pleased.
Someone in chat, I already lost it, but somebody in chat said we need I found it. Hathos said we need a good hockey anime. I totally agree. The closest thing we have to it is Shorzy.
There's apparently oh, okay, well.
Shorzy is an anime. I need this.
There's a pretty good badminton anime apparently, but I
Really?
haven't watched it yet. I've been meaning to.
Yeah.
Never really gotten into anime, but apparently it's pretty solid.
Back when I was
my
boxing
chat
all the
crashed
time.
right when I asked them to find a clip for me, Luke.
They didn't.
Dang it. Oh,
Oh,
they didn't find it?
Someone just linked one,
Oh, then mine's frozen
and
too.
it's Rickroll.
These people are awful.
Bamboozled. Well, you know you love them.
Yeah.
Oh,
Was it the 2002 Olympics?
this is a between the legs assist, which doesn't sound like what you described.
Oh no, hold on. Maybe I had it wrong. Hold on. Can I watch that? Okay, hold on. This might be the one. Maybe
Here, let's
he
just
has
here.
the
Let's
assist.
just
No, definitely not that.
right. That makes sense.
Hold on. Okay, let me see it. This might not be it because it was like
This doesn't look like what you
crappier,
were
grainier
describing.
footage. Hold on, where's the slow version of this? Man, this game is too fast. Okay, blah blah blah. Crowd reacts. Okay, here's the slow version. Hold on. No, that's not it.
Yeah, it didn't seem
Yeah.
like what you. It's good.
That's not it. No, it's this is great. Oh no, that is
That
it.
is.
That is it. That is it.
Whoa.
Okay. You know what? We're gonna take a
Whoa.
risk. We're gonna take a risk.
You can't see it unless you're at that angle.
We're gonna take a risk. This is it. This is the 4,000
You have to
IQ
have
move.
the right angle to see this. That's crazy.
This is insane. Okay, so here we go.
Play as little of it as possible.
Okay, yeah, we're gonna play
You
as
got to
little
show
as
them where
possible.
the puck is. Point it out. That's
Yeah,
not just
so
a random dot.
Here's the puck.
Yeah.
Okay, hold on. Okay, so yeah, here we go. This is the right winger with the puck. Why does space not play on this website?
Because you have that's selected
Okay,
right now.
all right. Okay, check this out. 4,000 IQ. What?
It looks so basic, but it's so sick.
Are you kidding me right now?
That's so sick.
Are you kidding me?
That's fantastic.
That no one
I love
before
how you
or
described
since.
it as like, you're not even wrong, but you're like, oh, it's not an NHL game. Like, what? You're like downplaying the game as the Olympics.
No. It's not an NHL game, so it was hard for me to find it.
Oh,
Because I couldn't even remember what tournament it was from.
I thought you were trying to say like it was just like a for fun, like random. Who cares? You didn't, but I thought that's what you meant.
Yeah, no, this dude, that like, oh man, that's
That's beautiful.
insane.
That's beautiful.
Just like
Did
this,
they give him the assist?
I'm not sure. He definitely assisted.
He deserves it. Yeah.
Lethal Bacon says, "Meh, it was an okay shot. He didn't take the shot. That's the point.
Yeah.
He
Pretended.
doesn't even look up. Just pretends that he's doing it. So completely open cage. Love it. Absolutely love it. And to be clear, there's a lot of modern players that are making moves that just blow the mind.
I watched a clip the other day where the guy, what was going on? He had a defender on him, and he puts his stick out, and blade goes flat against the ice, so he makes a ramp. And the puck comes up and ramps off his stick and goes over the defender's stick and goes to his teammate. He didn't like, it looks insane to watch. It's full speed, everything just, and it
Players
just,
are so good these days. Super Mario was on a different level. Literally, like, he's unbelievable.
It is a thing of beauty.
Based. Okay. What else? What are we supposed to be
Now we're
doing
going to do
right
a
now?
third merch message.
A third merch message?
Or we can just do two.
No, I'm going to do 3 because we're minutes over time now. And it says it on the doc that I didn't write. Hello, Dinus, Duke, and Lan. AWS technician here, just coming up on 1 year. What is the jankiest, most inefficient process you've ever seen a tech industry giant have that is different from others? I think that's a process. It's spelled wrong.
Do we count as a tech industry giant?
No, I don't think so.
Okay.
Not a giant, not in the tech industry.
Oh, well.
We're a media company. I'm hiding behind that shield today. You ask me a different day, I'm like, yeah, tech company floatplane. Whatever's
For
convenient.
once,
That's how narcissists do it.
I'm giving this to Linus.
Oh, man.
He's right.
Yeah. No, we do. He owns tech companies. That's my old. Anyways, whatever. No, I'm very confident in this.
These buttons are paying dividends.
Okay.
Throwaway joke.
Okay. I'm going to count this one. And I'm going to name them because I'm pretty sure everyone who worked there when I worked on this is gone. So this says absolutely nothing about the company in its current form. This was like 10 years ago.
Yeah.
I don't even, that CEO isn't there anymore. Okay. When I did a sponsored project for Ford at the New York International Auto Show, this was a cluster bomb.
I don't think this is going to be controversial.
They contacted us during CES. Okay, and I don't know if you guys know this, but the New York International Auto Show, at least back then, was right after CES. They were like, okay, we want to bring you guys out for sponsored social posts. And there's this roundtable discussion, and we're going to be the first to broadcast in 360 on Facebook,
Which would have been a thing back then. And we need you to do these Instagram posts and whatever. And I really didn't want to do it.
I really didn't want to because I was coming back from CES, and CES is always a grind. And particularly back then, it was a grind and a half. The way that we would tackle that show with very few people, I don't know how we did it. So anyway, I literally
couldn't anymore.
The offer though, and we needed the money. We really needed the money at the time, and the offer was really good. So I agreed to fly back from Vegas to Vancouver on my original flight, and then literally have a meal in the airport with my family and fly to New York, which I was not stoked to do. But, you know, it was one of those things where the way that I would always do the math, and even now I find myself falling into this math again, even though we have like proper reports and stuff. The way that I would do the math is I would take our average salaries and I would go, okay, how many like employee hours would this pay? Right? Like that was just the way I would do the math for whether I would
unreasonable way to think about things.
Whether I would take a project, right? This runs the company for like 3 weeks. I have to take it.
Yeah, I look at anyways, I'm not going to.
And to be clear, I wouldn't take it if there was anything an ethical problem with it or whatever else, but it was like a couple sponsored Instagram posts for Ford, who cares? Right? Like it didn't they weren't asking me to say anything that was untrue. It was so it wasn't a question of that. It was just a question of, okay, this is a perfectly okay project to take. Is it worth it? Yes. So I got there, and they're giving us they kind of set us loose in the showroom. There was a bunch of us, and they kind of go, okay, here's this, like we had this special app that we had to use to create draft posts that their agency could then approve, and then they would go up or something. So anyway, we're like going around. They have the show. We're on the show floor, and they have their showroom with all of their vehicles. And they had a few key things that they wanted us to look at. You know, things like backup cameras and stuff that would have been features back then. And the reason that I'm counting this as a tech company is because Ford was in the midst of trying to rebrand themselves as a tech company, which I think they've kind of done. I mean, the F-150 Lightning is a pretty techy car at this point, right?
Fair enough.
So that's why I'm calling Ford a tech company, because they were calling themselves a tech company. And that was a big part of the push, and it was a big part of the reason that I was there, rather than traditional automotive influencers or whatever else, right? So anyway, I'm on the show floor, and I'm like, okay, so I'm done my Instagram post. This doesn't seem like work. No offense to like Instagram influencers or whatever. Like some of them put like a ton of work into the staging and framing and whatever, but realistically, Ford didn't care and I didn't care. We had like almost no followers on Instagram. So I go to the rep and I'm just like, I'm done. Like, do you want to do a YouTube video or something? And they're basically like, no. The KPI is Instagram posts. I'm like, cause like, I'll do it. Like, this is pretty cool. Like I like the products. I think they're cool. Like, should I do that now? They're like, no. And I'm like, but I don't even have
Gross.
I don't even have a lot of followers on Instagram. Like I'm way bigger on YouTube. Do you want me to? But that's how rigid
icky
the processes can be. And I don't know about icky, but it's incompetent.
I detest that like type of work.
Sure.
I hate it.
Where you're not giving any thought.
Yeah.
But realistically, they're not in a position where they can give thought.
But then I would not function.
Oh, I see what you're saying.
This is a personal thing. Yeah,
I get it.
Yeah,
no, I get it.
I'm not even necessarily blaming them. Like, it just, I don't know.
What I think happened was someone bailed. And I think that it was someone with more Instagram following. And at the end of the day, they just have their KPI. And their KPI is they need a certain amount of like Instagram likes, and they have a certain budget. So they go out and they get a stable of influencers that get them over their limit. They need to have a certain number of people there for the roundtable discussion. They just have the parameters, and they're working with their parameters. And a YouTube video
doesn't help them at all.
Not their parameters, so they don't care.
But the reason why that feels icky is because you don't feel like you're on part of a team, because it's not part of the parameters. It doesn't help them at all. It doesn't help their team at all, even though that would help the organization. It would help your people as a whole. But at that scale, I think this just happens.
It just happens.
Where that's irrelevant now.
Yep.
And I just don't like that.
KPI stands for key performance indicator. So basically the proof of performance that you like did your job. So like if you're a sales representative, your main KPI is going to be selling lots of stuff.
Like think about
or if
when
you're customer care, your KPI would be customer satisfaction surveys.
Think about when we started putting Flowplane exclusives on to YouTube for YouTube members. People came to me with that, like, tiptoeing super hard because they expected me to be pissed. And my response was like, this seems like the right move for the company overall. Good job.
But that is
it shouldn't be protectionism. What? Yeah. I mean, the experience is still better on Flowplane. You still get more stuff on Flowplane. We're talking to Flowplane chat right now. It's better.
Yeah.
But it's not. Some people will never do any engagement with us whatsoever off of YouTube. That is a fact.
Yeah, their payment information is already there, and it's more convenient for them to just click a button.
It's a worse experience. They don't get as much, but they get something. And if that something is worth it to them for those dollars,
we will take those dollars.
Sure, sounds good, and we will give them something in return.
But that perspective is a big part of why you were probably always destined for some kind of management. And some people don't see that perspective, and sometimes it's not even their own fault because they can. I think people can end up really disenfranchised when their leadership doesn't see the bigger picture like you describe. Like, I think that you could start with an idealistic view that anything you do that helps the company should ultimately be, received positively and rewarded. But if you get it beaten out of you enough times, like let's say I was that sales rep.
I think this happens a lot.
Let's say I was that sales rep and I'm only incentivized by like selling things, but I would spend probably a solid half an hour of my day every day making sure that I tidied up the front desk because no one else was doing it. And I'm still like mostly hitting my quota, but then I have someone yelling at me because I'm such a good salesperson and I'm not just talking to customers, then I might stop doing it. Right. And I think
sometimes that might be okay, but it's often not. Like think about if that sales rep did do the YouTube video with you. It gets 1 million views, but your 50,000 like Instagram post didn't go up. I have no idea how many likes we got on Instagram.
Very few. We had a pretty small following on Instagram.
5,000 like Instagram
not even,
post.
But sure, yeah.
2,000.
Thanks.
1,000.
I have no idea anymore.
45 like Instagram post doesn't go up for some reason, and he misses his quota by your post amount.
Yeah.
But your YouTube video got 1 million views. To me, huge win.
I know.
Whatever.
I know.
But maybe he loses out on some personal income or whatever else for that reason. Like, that can really bash people down. You have a minuscule ego compared to most of the executives and project managers I've seen, and he tagged me. I don't know if that's
Luke
true.
Definitely has an ego.
I can't.
You actually nailed it, by the way.
What?
I think your first guess was 5,000 likes.
Oh, I think I said 50.
Oh, did you? Oh,
I corrected down to 5,000.
Okay, well, this was the 360-degree camera setup.
Yeah.
I think, yeah. This one was part of the sponsored thing. Look at all these like ats and hashtags. Fun fact, by the way, the roundtable discussion did go ahead according to plan, but they never published it. I think, I would imagine it didn't make it past legal or something. And the scuttlebutt that I heard was that what's the American? Ryan Seacrest actually co-hosted the panel. And the scuttlebutt that I heard was that was a hundreds of thousands of dollars bill for a piece of content that was never published. Not to mention, so hundreds of thousands of dollars for Ryan Seacrest alone, who was only there for the first half, along with Ford's CEO at the time. And then their like VP of technology or whatever stepped in for both of them, and it continued in the second half. And I overheard someone saying that Seacrest was literally already in the shuttle back to his private plane by the time we were done wrapping the second part.
That's wild.
And that was on top of all the cost of having literally the entire rest of the table of influencers sitting there. So I think basically I'm not even trying to pick on Ford, and I'm certainly not trying to pick on any individual person. Like I said, none of the people that I interacted with, there's any way that they're still at Ford at this point. This is 483 weeks ago. This was in 2016. So 9 years ago, not 9+ years ago. But I think that the point I was trying to make is that processes can get extremely KPI focused and very focused on the trees when the forest is much more important. And I think that that's something that can happen at just about any large company.
Yeah.
And the reason I'm telling this story is mostly to illustrate that this kind of thing happens all the time.
Super common.
And that is a big part of my perspective in general, where you'll see other tech media go malice, 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 scamming, taking advantage of the customer. When, from what I've experienced, the
Probably like perverse incentives or whatever
far
else.
more likely
Cobra heads.
explanation is
Yeah.
incompetence, because there is no way that them refusing a free YouTube video from a YouTuber instead of some crappy Instagram post from a not Instagrammer had anything to do with anything other than incompetence.
Mm-hmm.
And that's just the truth. That's just the way it is.
To address the ego comics, I've been trying to think here. I'm like really surprised.
Wow,
someone
you're
said
really
that. But I think
what kind of ego would you have to read that
still
comment,
be thinking about it?
say it out loud, and still be thinking about it when I'm saying things that are so much more interesting?
I tend to align really well with team effort.
/S.
I tend to align really well with team effort. I also think I'm rarely like the best at something when we start. I'm rarely the smartest person in the room, but I will out try hard like anyone. That has always been my thing forever.
Yeah.
I will sweat so hard and I will eventually win.
My mom had a term for the kids in her class that were not the brightest intellects, but were really good at school. She called them A-getters because they got A's, but they brute forced it. You are not an A-getter.
No.
You are actually someone who effortlessly got A's in school.
Yeah.
But you're one of those people who is very, very smart, but like I was talking about earlier, smart enough to know that you're not the smartest guy in the room.
Yeah.
Like that's the thing, right? And like Luke was talking about with the percentile differences, Luke could be 99th percentile. He could be smarter than literally 99 out of 100 people.
But then I hang out with
But the 99.5% and the 99.9% basically are to him what he is to someone who gets passed over for every promotion, you know? And that's just the truth. That's just the truth. Of course, there's more to life than just being smart. Like a big part of success is learning to work with people, communication skills.
the amount of wasted potential
Being
on people
personable.
who are smart but have no grit or will put no effort into anything is insane. Like,
Yeah.
I don't know.
Scrappy DP says Luke not 99.9%. We know. And actually the had matter says you can't be over 99 percentile. That is actually, I don't think that is quite true. I think depending on what we're measuring, you can be over 99th percentile, but in terms of intellect, I don't think they rated over 99.
I have no idea for intellect.
So we're talking
specifically,
about a
but-
theoretical, like a hypothetical, if there was. The point is just that as you approach that asymptote, it goes out really, really, really far within that 1% that we don't even really have a way of accurately quantifying.
Yeah.
And that even assumes that the IQ scale is accurate, which we know for a fact that it isn't. It's just kind of, from my understanding, the closest measure that we have of objective
I also
analysis of
think
intellectual prowess.
the ability to like apply your IQ potential to something is like super important. A lot of people just like can't do it due to, I don't know, ability to work as a team, social skills in general, different things like that. People can often struggle. As humans, we're social creatures, and you kind of have to accomplish things together generally. So I think people get held back from that sometimes.
Okay. Oh, actually, this is really funny. And this is not really a great analogy, but it tickled me anyway. Willing Spy in Floatplane Chat says it's kind of like how going from level 98 to 99 in Diablo 2 is the same amount of XP as level 1 to level 92.
Kind of though.
There's
Like,
there's a RuneScape version of that too. 98 is half of 99 or something like that. Don't quote me. I haven't played 2007 Scape in a long time.
it's actually wild though. Like, I don't know.
92 is half of 99.
Maybe if he had more IQ.
92. My
That's true.
mistake.
It's true.
I had to look it up.
All right.
No skill waste.
What are we doing?
Now you're going to read the floatplane announcement.
Oh, okay. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Right away, sir. I've always said, who the f*** is Daniel Besser? But I've never asked, what the f*** does Daniel Besser do? To answer one of the two questions, we caught up with Dan in a new series, Dans Dailies, where he shares some of his day-to-day activities. The current like-dislike ratio on this is infinity.
Although, I think it's already on hiatus.
Dan's Dailies is already on hiatus.
Oh,
That
yeah.
was quick.
It like had to get canceled halfway through because I stopped doing different things.
Yeah.
Oh,
And it
right.
got really, really, really boring.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Okay. Well, anyway, people really
Sorry,
love
guys.
this video, so you can go watch this video. Also, where did we get this floatplane mic flag? Because I love it.
It's 3D printed, actually.
Yeah,
I love it
Sammy's
so
had
much.
for a while. Yeah.
Do you remember how much
sick.
we paid for a stupid mic flag back our first trade show?
No, but I remember it was like enough that we talked about it a lot.
Unreasonably expensive, and then because
3D
it
printing is
cost
cool.
it costs so much to like get it personalized. I just like used I used my printer at home,
was
and then
it
I
just
used
taped?
packing tape
Yeah.
around it to like try to make a branded flag. In fact, oh man, now I have to go find this.
I'm sure there's.
Oh, dude, I'm gonna find footage of it. YouTube. Hold on.
Oh,
I
it
will
sounds
show
like
you
the
guys.
Creator Warehouse team made it for Sammy, maybe? Tynan said we made it for Sammy.
That's super cool. Let's see. Was it CES? I don't think it was CES.
The
I don't
suit
think I had
era.
a mic. Well, not suit
Not
even,
suits,
but the
we're dressed up.
button-up shirt. You can tell how many videos I shot in a single day because I'm wearing the same shirt in this one, this one, this one, and this one. Absolutely wild.
Very likely more.
And this
There you
one.
go. Yeah.
Man, those days were wild. Okay, was it Computex? I think it might have been Computex because we did the sponsorship with WD. Look at this guy.
Hell yeah,
Look at this
dude.
guy.
Hell
Absolute
yeah.
Chad. No, I didn't have a mic flag yet. Oh man, remember when Ed did this cool because we were like traveling? We took a plane there. We took a plane there. It was just so cool. Okay, I'm gonna keep trying to find this. In the meantime, you want to find another topic for us?
Sure.
Or wait, did I finish reading the thing? No, I didn't finish reading the thing. Do you
I
want
can finish it off while you look.
Sure, thanks.
So yeah, like ratio really good. There's also
That's a weird
small...
invitation, but okay.
There's also a small discussion on Airtable, a whole new system Dan is building. Is building with the help of Nicole. Airtable isn't the system that he's building. He's building a system on top of Airtable. Airtable is a software product. But anyways,
How do you build something on top of an Airtable? I'm such a fucking asshole.
also season 2 of Why Is WAN Late is now out, and Linus is
And
somehow
legit.
winning?
And
Question mark?
legit.
Question mark? Is he cheating?
Never.
Yes. Is
Never.
Luke just slacking off? No.
And breaking the law? Yes. What's more of a cheat, bending the rules or literally breaking the law?
It wasn't breaking the law of the competition, though. It was just breaking the law,
Of the country.
which is less important, objectively.
Federal crimes are less important
Federal
than WAN
crimes
show.
basically don't matter. I don't know what you guys are talking about. If you
How do you tell that you're a C executive? Yeah, C-suite.
classic,
Some of you may die, but at least I was not late.
that is a risk I am willing to take. If you love the processes or want to see if Linus is a snaky, cheating, stinking, cheating cheater,
There's no way that's in the doc.
That says there.
it's word for word.
Snaky, cheaty, stinking, cheating, cheater.
Wow. I feel personally attacked right now.
Check out
Because I'm being personally attacked right now.
That's true. Just like an executive. Check out lmg.gg/floatplane or
Yes.
or YouTube members plus for the lazy.
Can't call our supporters lazy.
That's
you
also in
guys.
the doc. I have to.
You
read.
can't call our supporters lazy.
It's in the doc. I gotta do it.
Okay, well, I found it. We gave you one of those Zoom mics because.
Oh, dude, I'm actually
look
suited
at him, he's
up.
so dapper.
Wow.
And then this is me. So,
You gotta support the channel.
okay.
There you
we
go. Hey.
So this-
Oh my god.
It's taped on.
This is packing tape.
We've come a long way.
We really,
It's just really, really, really glossy
we
paint.
really have. So if we look closely, there you go. You can really see. So it wasn't quite the same width. So I had to do a piece, and then if I wrapped it around, it kind of looked stupid. So and remember, okay. So hold on. If I wrapped it all the way around, it would slip off, right?
Right.
So what I had to do was I had to I lined it up on two sides, and then I would tape all the way around, and then I put the other two on, and then taped all the way around. And I had to do the top and then a little sliver at the bottom because it wasn't quite the right width. And if I didn't do that, then it would like fray and look crappy at the bottom. If I wasn't looking this closely at it, I don't think anybody ever noticed or called me on this.
Yeah.
But this is very hand done.
Oh, yeah.
It blends in perfectly.
Was this?
Yeah.
Wait, were we sponsored by NCIX for
Yeah.
that show?
Yeah.
Wow, wild.
Yeah. Because we were still working with them on a regular basis.
Yeah.
Also, I just completely like lose the flag in this part of the shoot, apparently. So that's good. Good job, Linus. That man, he deserves every bit of ego that he has. He's destined for great things. Forgetting his mic flag.
He is.
Tynan says, "I see nothing has changed.
It's just scaled up
If it works, I sits."
for sure.
Okay. What are we supposed to be talking about?
Should probably
Next
do
topic?
sponsors.
Nope.
No, we should do a topic.
We gotta do another topic.
Okay, you
Okay,
got
we're gonna
one
do another
topic, and then you gotta eat your peas.
Okay, Dan, you can pick the topic though. Okay.
Oh no, this
Yeah,
is
you
too
do
much
it.
pressure. I've never had to do this before.
You
Yeah,
can
you
do
do
it.
it.
Well, I mean,
believe
if we're
in you.
talking about sponsors,
Stalking? That's a
about-
weird Freudian slip. Do you?
No, it's not. It's normal. Don't go outside for a few hours. All right, just for that, trade war escalates.
Oh.
Oh. Okay.
Okay, how about Discord trials? Discord sounds fun. That's a very
Oh, yes.
great platform that I like very much.
Discord is hot water this week as New Jersey becomes the first state to sue the platform, alleging it failed to protect kids from harassment, abuse, and sexual exploitation. The lawsuit claims Discord marketed itself as a safe place for kids. I don't think I've personally
I don't
seen
think
that,
I've ever seen that.
but okay. Even though it knew its safety tools didn't work.
That I believe.
Me too. It highlights how easy it is for predators to contact minors thanks to Discord's default settings. That's true.
Yep.
And lack of real age verification.
Also
Typing in a
true.
birthday doesn't count. Meanwhile, Discord is quietly testing a new age verification system in the UK and Australia that asks users to scan their face or upload an ID, which sounds horrific.
So yeah, can I interrupt for a second here and say, like, yes, Discord lacks real age verification. Typing in a birthday doesn't count. That totally makes sense. That's totally true. But what else are they supposed to do?
I have no idea. I don't want them to do anything else.
I don't want them to do this other thing.
Sounds
Okay.
horrible.
Sorry, carry on.
I would like if they changed the defaults. That's it. Maybe if they added a parental controls mode. Does that exist?
Wait, the system isn't all the time.
Yeah.
It's only when you encounter flagged NSFW content or try to change your sensitive content filter. That helps a little, but not much.
Yeah.
Okay, carry on.
Users can verify by using their phone's camera for a face scan or scanning a QR code to submit a photo of government ID.
Submit indeed.
Discord insists the data isn't stored. Face scans are processed on device, and ID images are deleted after verification, meaning they're stored for a small period of time. But anyways, if the system flags someone as underage, they can retry, request a manual review, or risk a ban. I wonder if it's a ban from viewing that type of content or a ban off the platform.
Probably a ban off the platform.
Yeah.
I had one of my kids' Discord account removed because they figured out they were a minor somehow. And then I made a new account for them.
Is there parental controls for Discord?
Not very good.
But they like exist?
Well, with my kids, the parental controls are that I know your password and that I have full access to your computer as your parent.
Yeah.
Genesis says someone probably reported your kid. Yeah, that makes sense.
Funny.
Anyway, yeah, this move appears to be Discord's way of staying ahead of tightening regulations like the UK's Online Safety Act and Australia's rules banning under 16s from social media. Our discussion question, though, is can any platform realistically protect kids without unreasonably sacrificing privacy or usability? Thanks, Luke. This is a really long and nuanced conversation. It's really good that we're able to turn this into an actual topic we can discuss rather than just reading a thing.
I think we need better, strong parental controls everywhere. And I don't think these types, uploading your ID to freaking every platform that exists is not an acceptable solution in my opinion.
I can tell you right now, parental controls are not going to be a solution either. Parental controls exist for lots of these lots of platforms, even if they do or don't for Discord. And
parents don't use them.
Parents don't use them. Parents don't even understand them. I've told this story before, but hanging out with normie parents of my kids' friends has been extremely eye-opening for me.
Yeah.
They literally don't even know what the fuck Discord is.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Until the school sends out a memo warning about kids bullying each other on Discord. They're like, whoa, what's a Discord? They literally don't even know. And their kids are over 10.
Wild.
And they're all on Discord.
Of course they are. That's wild. The biggest pushback for me is not actually the fact that it's extremely obvious that one of these platforms is going to get hacked at some point in time.
Well, yeah.
And there's going to be some form of man in the middle thing. And they're going to be like, well, we don't store it. But yeah, the malicious attacker does. That's not even my main complaint. My main complaint is the person that could be potentially trying to exploit your child.
Sure.
Could try to use some form of phishing style attack to get them to give them photos or potentially their ID. Because if you normalize the idea of these platforms asking for photos and ID, you now create a phishing scenario where you can ask for photos and ID. And we should just not do this to begin with. I really don't think you're going to stop anything. People will very likely find ways around this.
I mean, part of the problem too is just how archaic our ID systems are. The fact that your social security number, or in Canada, your SIN number, is a permanent number. And once people have it, they have it and can do stuff with it. That's insane. I mean, even a credit card, right, has to expire every few years so that so if it's compromised, they don't just have it forever. And it's way less important in the grand scheme of things than a SIN number or an SSN. That's insane. But here we are.
Yeah, I'll
just pay for Equifax forever. That's a good system.
Yeah, until they get hacked.
I get it free because they got hacked.
Me too.
It's not even a joke.
Fox NZ, I'm assuming New Zealand, says Discord can't stop phishers abusing their QR code logins on the browser. Why should we trust them for scanning faces and IDs securely? This is my point. And it honestly has nothing to do with trusting Discord. You can't trust any of them.
Yep.
It's not, I'm not even.
I don't know. Actually,
can't
Luke,
trust anyone.
I take extreme exception. Mr. Mark Zuckerberg has this.
I was wondering where he's going to go with it. Can't even trust 4chan. Nice reference, Dan.
Facebook engaged in absolutely no anti-competitive. Sorry, I can't even.
That would be such a difficult thing to try to defend.
I can't even do it with a straight face. Yeah. Okay.
I trust Luke. Don't. That's my point. Is I don't
You can trust him, but verify.
Yeah.
That's allowed.
Yeah.
That's allowed.
And
you can trust me, bro, as long as LTTStore continues to have an excellent track record of taking care of our customers. But once it doesn't anymore, then you shouldn't.
Yeah. Someone said even the LMG forum got hacked. That's my point.
Yep.
To be honest. And it's been a while, and that's great. I'm happy about that. But it might happen again someday.
Yeah, I mean, we don't write the software the forum runs on.
No.
So
and we do our best, but It is what it is. Every platform is vulnerable. Every single thing ever. Every lock, every physical lock, every software lock, every door, every wall, every single thing ever is vulnerable to something.
This is wild.
Nothing is ever safe.
Dead Antisocial and Float Plane Chat. My wife got a letter in the mail trying to sell her stuff. It was addressed to her fake name that she only uses on Facebook. Wild.
Yeah.
Love it. Great. What a good world. Dan, what are we supposed to be doing? Yes, sponsors. The show is brought to you today by Netdata. Have you ever wished you could actually see what's going on in your systems in real time? Our sponsor, Netdata, is basically X-ray vision for your infrastructure. It's open source and gives you per second insights into your systems, containers, and apps. Oh, we've used this before. It's super awesome. We love this thing. Oh, cool. I didn't know they were a sponsor. Instead of juggling multiple tools and dashboards, Netdata lets you see all your data at a glance with a clean, slick interface. You've probably seen it in our videos before. We are talking practically any metric updated every second with no BS. They've got over 800 integrations and smart machine learning baked in, so you'll spend less time guessing and more time actually fixing problems. Plus, your data is always stored on your own infrastructure, not on someone else's server. Netdata is perfect for anyone who wants more clarity, speed, and control over their systems without breaking the bank. On their site, you'll also find detailed comparisons showing how Netdata stacks up in performance and scalability. Check out Netdata using our link below and get 10% off when you sign up. The show is also brought to you by Proton. Did you know there might be sneaky email trackers in your inbox, similar to the RTX 5090? Oh, they exist, but good luck finding them. I get it. These trackers are invisible, but our sponsor, Proton Mail, can help you actually stop them.
Oh.
Your emails are fully encrypted, so advertisers can't snoop around your inbox. Unlike some other providers, your data isn't monetized or harvested, so you'll be getting an ad-free, privacy-focused experience. Plus, your private keys stay on your device, so even if Proton's servers are compromised, your messages stay encrypted. And with dark web monitoring, Proton alerts you if your email or personal info ever shows up on the dark web. Proton Mail is part of a larger suite of privacy-first tools, including Proton Drive, Docs, and Pass, all designed to help you de-Google your life. Switching is easy, too. Their migration tool helps you move your emails, calendars, and contacts in just a few clicks. Check out Proton Mail at proton.me/WAN to get up to 38% off their plans. Oddly specific. Thank you, Proton. Finally, the show is brought to you by DeleteMe. Do you know that hundreds of data brokers might be selling your personal information online? We're talking phone number, email, home address, all of that up for grabs for anyone with a credit card. Our sponsor, DeleteMe, helps protect your privacy by removing your data from these sketchy sites. Like Colton here, Dennis easily found his phone number and other sensitive info. And not long after, a prank call from some random delivery guy. What is this? Don't let people take advantage of your data. DeleteMe tracks down your information and gets it wiped from these data brokers. And the removal process is simple. Just sign up, and their experts will do the work for you. You'll get a detailed report in 7 days. And it doesn't stop there. DeleteMe keeps scanning and deleting for you regularly all year long. So check them out at the link below and use code WAN to get 20% off.
I thought that was a pretty, I don't know if this was even planned for, but I thought that was a pretty clever sponsor for the like detective, what is the name?
Too much water! Same thing's happening to me.
Really?
Yeah.
You guys are water boys today?
I don't know why. I'm on my fourth.
I have an iron bladder. I think it's from, I refer to it as gamer bladder.
I've started adopting that term as well.
Gamer bladder?
Yeah, I've started adopting gamer bladder as well.
Yeah.
Sorry, I was muted there. But yeah, it's like, I don't know. What it
Yeah.
is. Something about today.
Yeah. Speaking about today, should we do a merch message break or should I find another article? Topic. Why did I say article?
I mean, there are articles,
Sort of, I guess.
maybe.
Merch message? Yes, no? Question mark?
I think there's another one in here for you. Blurp, blurp. Hey, Luke.
What's up?
Do you prefer working on your soft skills or technical skills? I've always been told my soft skills are great, so I end up in Mang positions, but sometimes I hesitate if it's the right call.
I find working on technical skills to be more fun and feel more rewarding in the moment. I feel like working on soft skills is less fun, especially because working on something often means failing to a certain degree, and failing with soft skills sucks. But I find the long-term, not like short-term dopaminergic response, but the long-term deep appreciation response to working on soft skills to be higher. Yeah, maybe that's a good answer. Maybe not. We'll run with that. Maybe I'll find another topic because that was relatively short. Do you have any thoughts on that, Dan?
I don't know. The thing is that, like, your hard skills can be done by yourself. Soft skills, you need other people to do that. And so if you're not setting up an environment where you're interacting with people to work on soft skills, then it's not.
Yeah. You want to jump to the pool robot video?
Were you going to say controversy
thing? I don't even know what it is, to be honest.
I don't know what it is either. Oh, yeah, we uploaded our pool cleaning robot video today, which obviously stirred up some comments. So we want to have an open discussion with you guys. Point number 1, why don't they just go rent a pool somewhere else so they don't have to blur things? Finding people to loan us a pool actually is not that easy, especially if we're going to, like, huck stuff in it.
It needs to be not clean.
Yeah.
Most pools that you can rent are going to be clean.
So, yeah. We blur surroundings to protect privacy to the greatest degree that we can. We always try to blur something if we can, and it's better/faster to have the auto blur tool navigate around the host rather than trying to track individual windows if the camera's moving. Point number 2, why do we make poolbot videos? Short answer is right in the name of the video, showcase. Got a great world-class team here. They need great world-class money. We've always tried to be extremely clear when we do these showcases versus an editorial or a sponsored video that is integrated into the content. We explained this in our How LTT Makes Money video, and ultimately we turn down way more offers for showcases than we accept. It's only when we think we can make a video that's worth watching. I mean, I watched that video. I thought it was actually pretty entertaining. I think Elijah did a great job. And we let the host kind of carry the entertainment when we decide to take these kinds of showcases. We also attempt to upload them on low-performing days so as to not take away from the other videos we might post that week. So it would be typical for a video like that to go up on a Friday when, if you are more into things that are not just a sponsored pool robot video, you could also watch the WAN show. So discussion question here is, what could be improved next time? I mean, I think there's a lot of things that we could improve. I think we could probably frame a little bit more carefully day of. Try to make it so we don't have to blur as much. I think that's the biggest one. I think that's what most people were mostly concerned about, was the blurring. But in terms of the actual content of the video, I don't know. I actually kind of enjoyed it. I thought Elijah did a great job, and I thought it was interesting to see, what is the actual difference in cleaning speed for the robot versus me. For those of you who don't want to watch the video because blurring bothers you.
That's a smart angle, because I understand this content could be difficult to make interesting, but I'm skimming through it right now, and that seems kind of cool, actually.
The robot took a few hours. It didn't get everything, but it had enough battery left that it could probably do another pass, and it would be done at that point. And I took an hour. So I beat it by a factor of 6.
But it also took you an hour.
But I personally spent an hour dragging sand and rocks and fake leaves out of my pool that Elijah put there.
Yeah.
Yeah. I also, that fucking guy, his stupid sand that, here, I'm going to give this to, I'll send this to Dan. Dan, if you want to show this on stream. That guy. Here, hold on. Yeah, I sent this to him. Yeah, here.
Someone just said an hour of CVO time on cleaning a pool. Yeah, but as the vision officer, he could see the stuff at the bottom of the pool more easily.
And you forget that my main role is not really CVO. It's just a role that kind of works to describe the most important thing that I do, grand scheme of things. But the thing that I actually spend the majority of my time on day to day is more along the lines of primary host and editor-in-chief. And that encompasses a lot of different things. Like today, I was actually on set for an entire shoot that I participated in only minimally, just as a training exercise for a couple of hosts, one of whom was relatively inexperienced still, and they just wanted me to.
That's cool.
Yeah, I
This
thought
is cool.
I thought that was really cool because the goal has always been to be a real company that isn't just a YouTuber and his band of merry men, and some women even these days.
I got that picture for you if you
to
want.
be a real company, right? And part of being a real company is succession. I am not going to be young and hip and cool, well, ever, but I'll be even less young and less hip and less cool tomorrow than I was yesterday.
What do you mean?
I know.
That's not very narcissist of you.
I know. Well,
What happened there?
it's almost, okay.
Do you want to see the picture?
Let's look at the picture I sent Elijah.
What? I can't.
Here, can you zoom in, Dan?
Can
you show us? Can you show us my filter for my pool?
So those are your pool filters.
Yeah.
Oh no.
Good guy.
That's the smallest sand I think I've ever seen. Those are not cheap.
Anyway.
What a guy.
What a guy. But yeah, anyway, so Poolbot video. Basically, I'm sorry, but I'll do it again.
Yeah.
I like a full disclosure, right? Full disclosure, we're fully disclosing everything that we're doing. And if you want to watch a review, we have that. And if you want to watch a showcase of a pool robot, we have that. And we labeled it very clearly, and we put it on a day when you were going to get other content anyway. So,
Which is like pretty sick.
I
stack the content.
Yep. I'm sorry about the overuse of blur.
I was skimming through it.
Yep.
It was a little egregious sometimes.
I get it.
But you got to do that once and experience and then go, okay, what are the things we can do about it next time? Oh.
But sometimes there's new factors, new areas that we didn't anticipate needing to blur. So it is what it is.
Got it.
I mean, we have actually talked internally for years and years and years about just buying a house that is like a filming house, like the old days, except we don't actually operate the company there. We just use it as a filming set.
Having one close to here would be kind of nice.
My main objection to it is that we are taking a house off the market that someone could live in, which blows.
Shouldn't matter if we made enough houses.
But we don't.
But we don't, so it does matter.
We don't make enough houses.
That's so annoying.
And by we, I don't mean like us personally. I mean like we collectively here in the area that we live.
What if you built one? That was like a set house.
That's still a piece of residential zoned property that another developer almost certainly would have built a house on.
Could you build a set house on non-residential zone property? I bet so.
Oh my God. Okay, now I don't want to spend that kind of money on a house that no one will ever live in. So separate problem. I mean, nothing's impossible, but it wouldn't have like a pool. Like it wouldn't be like a proper house. It would have to be more like a set.
It has to have a pool to be a proper house?
Well, no, it wouldn't help us with pool robots.
Fair. Now you need a house with like 4 pools, so one can be getting dirty.
Indoor pool.
Do
a dirty pool factory.
Pool robot race, 4-way race. We need 4 pools.
Yeah.
We couldn't possibly have them clean the pool one at a time in serial.
It would take too long.
Okay, what are we supposed to be talking about? More topics.
Some other topic.
Let's see. How about we do good guy moves from companies? We asked you guys last week to come up with some good guy moves from companies for an upcoming LTT, and I thought we were going to be pretty led on topics this week, so I thought, hey, we'd highlight some of the really good ones that you guys have come up with already. Dan, if you want to post the Reddit thread, so if people could add more to them, that would be awesome. And so, I want to highlight some of the cool ones you guys came up with and also solicit more examples of good guy moves from companies. So here's a few really good ones. This is from Real Train. Bittersweet one, but Google's handling of the Stadia shutdown. They refunded every game purchase and unlocked the proprietary controllers, allowing them to be used as generic Bluetooth and wired controllers. That was a good guy move.
That was cool.
That was actually legitimately cool. Gimmick Music 1 says, for all the shit people give Nintendo, when the Wii U had such atrocious sales, the executives at Nintendo all took pay cuts so they would not need to lay anybody off.
I reference this often.
It's a decision that has stuck with me. Even today, in the grand scheme of AAA gaming, I don't think that Nintendo has ever implemented mass layoffs like Sony, EA, or Microsoft, etc. Yes. And Flack Freak says, Microsoft of all companies, still developing, balancing, and supporting Age of Empires 2 since 1999, and doing it on Steam, not Microsoft Store. It's a smaller example, but it's a pretty cool one.
I'm surprised Microsoft didn't get in there for their accessibility controllers, but I will also
They might
point
have.
out
That's just a few examples.
the Wii U thing happened in I don't know, the Wii U launched in 2012, so I'm assuming 2013, and Google Stadia was announced to be shut down in 2022. So when we dug down for examples of companies doing good things, we had to, I already closed them.
Oh, we looked over a span of a decade.
Yeah.
Well, give the community time. They're going to find more stuff.
Yeah.
They're going to do it. They're going to do it.
There is other more recent examples. I'm just saying.
All right. What else we got? Oh, shoot.
Lots of topics.
I accidentally collapsed a few of my backup topics here, so I'll leave that one open.
Oh, I see.
I'm gonna
I'm gonna move them for you. You guys can move on.
Let's just do that one now. Oh, it's gone.
Oh my goodness.
Oh,
Dan,
oh,
you're killing me.
boy.
Okay, fine.
Where is it now?
Oh, what happened? Why is
Where'd
the
it go?
RTX 5060 one?
Good old doc. I'm gonna put it above. It's just under main topics. there.
Okay.
Let's just do it now.
Thank you, Daniel Besser. Do what now?
These topics.
Talking about the mic challenges? Well, no, we still have other topics. We
Wait,
have
mic challenges.
dude, we have 7 more topics.
Oh, do any of them
It's
matter?
8:30. HP agrees to a settlement over claims of falsely advertising PC and keyboards. They're paying $4 million after a class action complaint accused the PC maker of showing misleading original pricing for various computer, mouse, and keyboard products on their website. Among the claims, the suit alleged that HP.com advertised an AIO printer on sale for $899 and claimed the customer would save $100 instantly, though the printer had not been advertised for $999 for more than 6 months. Permasale.
Is that a thing? Permasale?
That's what I call it, but it's illegal.
What's the maximum end of how long you can have a sale on for?
Fun fact, that's why NCIX had a weekly special.
Yeah.
Where you'd have the same item in the weekly special, and there would be a few hours in between the weekly special every week.
That's so much better.
So that you could have hard drives on sale always, but they would not be in violation of any of these laws.
There was a significant period of my life where I went meticulously through every single NCIX weekly sale.
Oh, me too.
Yeah.
Hundo P.
Yeah.
Anyway, HP isn't admitting any fault or liability, but the settlement will see the original complainants will get them up to $5,000 each, which along with lawyer fees will come out of the $4 million settlement pool, while class members will receive $10 to $100, depending on the product purchased. And this is why I look at class actions and I'm just like, okay, that was really good use of time for
so neat.
anyone other than the lawyer who was involved. Hey, how are all those honey lawsuits going?
Who knows?
Who knows? And I don't think anyone cares anymore. Has Megaleg even uploaded
You were
another
a
video?
much more interesting target than Honey, I think.
I
for
think
the
so.
internet. Yeah.
I think so.
Forget that company. I
Yeah.
found an individual. What is this? EU thinks of children and takes action against harmful practices in video games.
Yeah, this is cool.
What is this? After a complaint by the Swedish Consumers Association, the Consumer Protection Corporation Network CPC has taken action against Star Stable Entertainment AB, makers of the massively multiplayer Star Stable Online.
Can you call it
Never
massively
heard of it.
multiplayer? If I've never heard of it and Luke's never heard of it.
For PC and Mac, and the Star Stable Horses app for Android and iOS. I suspect that's more
Okay,
popular.
well, I'll be working on this for now, and you do.
Fantastic.
It's a horse game. Anyway,
Amazing.
carry on.
Wow, the graphics are...
Oh, I think I've heard of this. This is obscenely popular.
Oh.
It's like girlies crack.
Oh, that makes sense.
Yeah.
That makes sense why we probably haven't heard of it.
Right.
Yeah.
I love how the hair on the horse is amazing.
Yeah.
Got
Okay.
it.
Well, you carry on. I'm going to be creating my
you
character.
Keep doing that. Perfect. So they have an MMO for PC and Mac, and they have Star Stable Horses app for Android and iOS. The CPC identified a number of practices that violate EU consumer protection regulations, which could be harmful to children, including direct appeals to children in advertisements, the use of pressuring techniques such as purchase through time-limited practices, a lack of clear and transparent information, and failure by the company to ensure that the influencers promoting their products clearly disclose commercial content. Ah, yes. Classic. Star Stable Entertainment has 1 month to respond with a plan to address these issues. Discussion question. What do you think of this seemingly very cooperative approach to enforcement? I don't know. Seems cool. I don't have a ton to say to that. By cooperative, do they mean the two different organizations teaming up? Because that happens elsewhere as well. I've seen that before. I think it can make sense, though. Often it's resource sharing and stuff like that. Discussion question. Could Star Stable replace Tape to Tape as Linus's go-to game? Jordan says, I made you an account. It's under the LTT games in the password manager. Download here. You're just playing in the browser. Do you want the more full fat experience? I can keep doing topics, and
I
you
think
can.
my experience has already got enough.
You're not even through the character creator, are you?
No, I'm not.
Oh, but you've got an account. I feel like you got to download it.
I really don't think I do.
I think this is important content for WAN Show.
Don't think I do.
I feel like you're doing a disservice to the people. By not getting a ribbon or something.
Anyway, the EU seems to be figuring out things pretty good for the most part. This seems like another positive step in my opinion.
Even though he didn't do it, Jordan, I appreciate that you set up an account for him and everything. I think it was valuable. OpenAI is doing something probably horrible. OpenAI is developing an early stage thing that sucks. Okay, sounds good.
Yeah.
Intel investigating ARC performance with older CPUs. What?
OpenAI wants to build a social app, basically.
Yeah. Cool.
It's super old news, but Intel's finally acknowledged, and they are investigating the CPU overhead issues with running ARC GPUs on older Intel and AMD CPUs. So, yeah.
They're going to be all sad because we brushed over that topic. It's not that we don't think the topic is important.
Yeah, it's important.
Whoever wrote this. It's just so gross. I don't want to talk about it.
OpenAI's thing?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Either way, they want to make an app, and then you can share your generated images on it so you can show your Ghibli drawings to other people that you didn't draw.
Sick.
And they can look at it and show you their things that they didn't draw.
In other good news, Blue Origin practices sending millionaires to space for when the world ends.
Maybe.
Their NS-31 flight launched on April 14th and made headlines for being an all-female crew. The voyage was just under 11 minutes long and stirred up lots of controversy, ranging from outrage that celebrities are going to space to even claims that the flight was faked.
Yep.
Celebrities included pop star Katy Perry, broadcast journalist Gayle King, philanthropist Lauren Sanchez, so wife of Jeff Bezos, and film producer
I'm happy you reacted to that
Carrie Ann Flynn. The other two members included former NASA rocket scientist Aisha Bowe and bioastronautics research scientist Amanda Nguyen. I'm not even going to talk about the theories that it's fake. They're really stupid.
It's just filming stuff and timing stuff.
Yeah, don't worry about that.
The door was open already because they had to make sure they were okay.
Oh, fiance, not wife. Yeah, thank you.
Whatever.
Okay, so do people hate Katy Perry now? Like, why do people hate Katy Perry?
Like
I don't actually know. I literally don't know.
Don't know, and honestly, deeply, fundamentally, to my core, don't care.
She's fake. They turned on her.
They married...
Oh, she married Russell Brand?
Is she still married to Russell Brand?
Oh. Yeah, he's an idiot.
No, they broke up. Dude, they broke up.
We're married from 2010 to 2012. What are you even talking about?
That has nothing to do.
Yeah, that's such a lame reason.
There's no way. There's no way because they liked her way after that. There's no way. I don't believe it.
I don't know, man. People seem to Her new song was terrible.
I think she collaborated with some guy that people don't like on it or something. Worked with this shady DJ. Yeah, she collaborated with some guy and they didn't like that guy and something happened.
Okay. I mean, there's maybe something there. Anyway, yeah, people seemed like really mad that she went to space. And some people seem especially mad that like celebrities like went to space just because they're celebrities. But I got to be honest with you guys, like I'd do it.
The thing,
if they offered to send Tech Tips Man to space,
unquestionably,
and like if we're having real talk right now, you'd do it.
Yeah,
I wouldn't blame Katy Perry for this one.
Yeah,
sorry.
Oh, something to consider as well about these people is you're mad about the stuff that you see. Like, trust me, there's so many things you don't see. And
like the whole reason that you're seeing it and talking about it at all is because they did this with celebrities. If they had only sent the scientists, no one would even know. This apparently is, hold on. No, this is definitely not footage that we can just use on WAN Show, but we can watch it. Jeff Bezos apparently face plants as part of the whole thing.
Like on purpose?
No, I don't think so. Sorry. Okay, watch here. Hold on.
He didn't even face plant.
No, but it's pretty funny.
He caught himself.
No, it's pretty funny.
I mean, anyone falling. Well,
yeah,
not
it's
anyone,
pretty
but
anyone falling is funny. It's just I don't know. It's funnier when it's a billionaire.
Yeah. So it was funny, but like he did catch himself.
To be clear, I don't actually know enough about Jeff Bezos to like hate him. He's just a billionaire to me. I don't think seems much worse than other billionaires. I could be mistaken about that.
How much money do you think he made in the time that he lost his balance and then hit the ground? That's going to keep me up tonight.
It was only about 2 or 3 seconds, but like that's got to be like an annual salary for someone.
Yeah.
Like for sure.
Probably multiple.
Yeah, that hurts. Anywho.
Yeah, people are upset because the door opened before Bezos went and like did the turn the crank thing. I think it was for filming reasons. I suspect they opened the door like right away to make sure that they were chill. I haven't looked into it almost at all, but I'm just assuming that the second they were like, oh, they opened the door and then they closed it and then they opened it ceremoniously. I was like, yeah, red tape and filming. This is like a thing.
Like this may surprise you, but when we do our grand opening party at Smash Champs in a couple of months, the mayor's going to cut a ribbon. Smash Champs was already open.
Yeah. For like a while.
Yeah. It's okay. It's
all right.
It's performative, and that's okay sometimes.
Yeah. I don't know the whole story. There might be other things behind it. I don't know. But the like little bit of the clip that I saw, I'm like, they open the door and then he goes and like kind of waves at them and closes the door again. And he's like, it looks like he's like, oh, no, we need the door closed still. We're going to get the shot. And then he closes the door.
Yeah.
And it's like, oh, okay. Yeah. There's probably stuffy in there and they wanted to open the door. Whatever. Who knows? All right. What are we doing? Creative Warehouse product sightings roundup. It's been a lot of it.
Oh, yeah, this is pretty cool. John Gadget featured the LTT screwdriver and precision driver in a tools and everyday carry roundup. He likes both. So this is pretty cool. I'm only going to show a little bit of one of... Oh, my God.
Oh!
I'm only going to show a little bit of one of them because I want y'all to go watch the video. Here you go. Oh, look at that. Hey, that's me. That's me. Hey, look. Hold on. Hey, look, a narcissist. Okay, hold on. LTT screw. Wow, he actually talked about the screwdriver for a really long time. Wow. That's super cool. And then here's a precision screwdriver. All right, cool. Yeah, so guys, Dan's going to link all of these videos. Thanks, Dan. LTT screwdriver also appeared in Mr. Who's the Boss's video testing YouTuber products. By the way, we low-key killed it. What? That's so cool.
That's pretty sick.
Yeah, he gave us a 9.5. 9.5. We were the highest scoring YouTuber product.
Nobody got a 10.
Nobody got a 10. So I was pretty pleased with that. The commuter backpack was reviewed by Aaron at Nomad Nations. It's a 21-minute review that gives a great look at most of the features of the bag. He especially likes the sleek style and the design of the tech compartment. Here, I guess I'm like doing this for all of them. Okay, well there you go. There's the thumbnail. You guys are you're gonna have to watch these videos. I'm not gonna take away the joy of watching the videos. And then William Osman ended up with a very cursed flesh-toned silicone LTT driver in his Pain Machine video.
The screwdriver.
Yeah, so this one-of-a-kind LTT flesh driver was made by Sebastian from CW. It was unsanctioned. It was after hours, and he presented it to William at OpenSauce last year. Seb said he made the abomination because it was a terrible thing to make and William would enjoy it. He made the mold from a production screwdriver so that he could get the texture right. You will have to do that yourself if you want one of these because we are not selling them no matter how much you beg. That is horrible.
Have you held it?
No. This shouldn't exist.
You gotta check out the
It is one of the worst things.
it's so
I feel like
icky.
it in his hand would need to be blurred.
Here, can I show this part of the video?
Yeah, just show it.
Watch, he'll show it like he squeezes it, and you see him pull it, so you can tell it's like flexible.
That's why I call it the screwdriver. I want to do his and hers.
That is horrible. Neat. Anyway, finally, it's not
the sound. That's gonna be a whole thing. Sorry.
Oh boy!
Sound of the bit compartment. Can we get sound real quick, Dan?
Oh yeah, sure. Luke.
Yeah,
Do you want to play it?
Whenever you're ready.
Okay.
Is anyone else's LTT screwdriver like this? It's got like skin. Are they yanking my balls? It's just mushy. I don't want to say what it feels like I'm grabbing. Listen. Last week I figured out I was being charged my...
I haven't heard this sound before.
That's so good. That man is a genius.
That video in general is actually extremely interesting, by the way. It's really cool. It's all about having like cold, hot, and it tricks you into thinking that you're like burning because of it's too close for your nerves or something. He explains it all in the video. But it's actually a really, really cool video. I would suggest checking it out. It's on
We are
William
never
Osman's main
making that
channel.
product.
During work hours.
So like
Ever.
crazy.
During work
I
hours.
don't care. I
It
don't
would
want
sell
people
like
to.
nuts.
I don't want people to put an LTT logo there.
During work hours.
That's fair, but it would sell like crazy.
No. No. Okay.
Bootleg market.
Finally, it's not a Creator Warehouse product, but it is something we built. Doug Demuro gave an update on his Lambo racing rig. It finally arrived, and it sounds like they managed to beat the tariffs, but his team ran into a bit of trouble reassembling it because of whiskey. Doug plans to have visitors set lap times in the rig and maintain a leaderboard. So he responded to that here. So you guys can go check that out for him as well. Okay.
Are we getting there? We're almost done.
Oh, a discussion question. What's the coolest LTT product sighting you've had? I mean, for me, I think the most fun ones are when I see someone wearing the hoodie or the backpack and I walk up and I'm just like, nice hoodie or like, nice backpack. And then I keep moving and they don't realize who I am.
Me too.
I actually love that.
Yeah.
I love playing that game. I don't know if it's because they just bought the product because they think it's a good product and they have no idea what LTT is, or like me personally, or if they just like were taken aback or didn't recognize me out of that context or whatever. I don't care why. I love it. I love just being like, hey, nice backpack.
Sometimes I
And they're like,
often
"Thanks."
think they legitimately probably don't know who I am because I'm not on camera as much anymore. But I just take that as an opportunity to be like, I don't know. It is nice and it looks good on them. So I will tell them. It's fine. Yeah. Trade war escalates. Stuff sucks. I don't know. Trade war continues to ramp up. NVIDIA expects 5.5 billion in losses. AMD expects 800 million in losses. Chip export license restrictions to China. Smartphones, semiconductors, and consumer electronics are temporarily exempt from reciprocal tariffs, but it's still subject to a 20% tariff. That's because, as far as I can tell, Tim Apple went to Orange Guy and was like, please don't. And then he was like, okay, cool. Other products now face up to 245% because numbers don't even matter anymore in stacked tariffs, combining multiple rounds from both Trump and Biden administrations. In retaliation, China has suspended exports of key rare earth metals and magnets, potentially disrupting everything from aerospace to gaming peripherals. NVIDIA has reaffirmed its $500 billion commitment to U.S. production, with Blackwell chips being manufactured at TSMC's Arizona fab. Sony has hiked PS5 prices again in Europe. I don't know how that makes any sense. Australia and New Zealand, as game consoles reportedly aren't exempt from the new tariffs.
So apparently that's to blend their costs across all the regions. So they're absorbing some of the cost of the tariffs by having consumers pay more worldwide.
That's interesting because they don't do it the other way around. Switch 2 keeps its $449 launch price, but accessories like Joy-Cons and Pro controllers are going up about $5, which seems low, to be honest. U.S. consumers are turning to Chinese shopping apps like DHgate and Taobao, which are now topping the App Store charts as people try to buy direct and dodge heavy markup platforms like Shein and Temu. I don't think that's going to work, bruh.
Well, it'll work for now.
For like a little bit.
Yeah. Well, I talked about how people are apparently like stocking up hard on non-essentials.
Yeah, fair. Yeah. I've had people reaching out saying like, I'm worried that my computer isn't going to make it. I won't be able to afford it on the other end. I can technically afford it now, so I'm going to jump now.
Just to give you some idea, Luke, of the absolute like insanity of what we're seeing right now. Our net sales for Q2 of 2024. So for those of you not familiar with the Q system,
we're 18 days into Q2.
It goes from April to the end of June, beginning of April, end of June. Our numbers for Q2 of last year are slightly lower what we have done in the last 18 days. Slightly lower. What? Obviously, people like shipping promos. And
if you've been wondering why, we have a promo on LTTStore.com where over $150 you get free shipping anywhere in the world. Buy now. MCM is discounted.
So obviously, the margins are a little lower, a lot lower this time around. So it's not actually like from a profit standpoint. That's not how it works.
Yeah.
But a big part of it is also just people knowing, like, okay, if tariffs at potentially hundreds of % do go into effect on May the 2nd, costs are going to go up in a very substantial way on items that are manufactured overseas, particularly in China. So if I want something that's made in China, which like a lot of things are, now's the time to
more than you
get on
realize.
It. Yeah. All right. Do you want to? I think these are interesting topics. These
two
go
next
here,
week, probably.
but we could do these next week.
I think so.
I'm really excited to collab with Badminton Insight, but I think we've already kind of talked about that. Oh, have we talked about how Nerd Sports is coming back? Dan, do you know? Nerd Sports is getting a new episode.
I think now it's official.
Okay, we're doing it. So the pro players that we're going to be playing against are going to be Greg and Jenny from Badminton Insight, who recently reached the semifinals at the All England Open, which is kind of a big deal badminton tournament. They put on the performance of a lifetime in front of the home crowd in England, and they're coming out here to do a tour of the facility, and they will also be shooting Nerd Sports with us. David, who was the genius behind our last couple of April Fool's videos,
fantastic
is
job.
going to be the writer-producer for it.
Most recent Scrapyard Wars.
The budget's a little lower on this one because Channel Superfund doesn't make money, but I think we did find a sponsor, so we're making it work. We're giving it a little bit of resources, so we're doing one more, last hurrah episode of Nerd Sports, and I'm actually really excited. I will not be playing for the Keyboard Warriors, though. Who's playing this time? I am too good at badminton.
Yeah, it makes sense.
To properly be like a Joes against pros player.
Who's playing?
I don't. Oh, should I reveal it?
I don't know.
I think
We could talk about it next week.
I think the plan is to have 4. You know what? It's really late to bother David. I'm not going to bother David.
I was interested, but I never got tapped.
I think the plan is to have 4 players, and they'll tag team out.
Oh.
And we have
Keep
some
them fresh.
We have some really great challenges for the pros. David and I were there yesterday, I think it was, and I was trying a lot of the challenges for myself. So, Greg and Jenny might watch this, so I don't want them to know what's coming. But
you don't want to spoil it for fans.
I don't want to spoil it for anybody. But we have some fun, interesting challenges.
Nice. Exciting.
And I'm really excited.
Sweet.
There. That's it. That's all I have to say about that.
Very cool.
My mom always told me life's like a box of chocolates.
I might show up and hang out in the premium section and just watch.
Okay.
A...
We're not allowing spectators in general, but I'll make one exception for Luke because he helped us configure our gym. He's allowed in the gym whenever he wants. He actually put a lot of work into it. And our gym is super nice. I get so many compliments on our gym.
It's pretty nice.
People come up to me, tears in their eyes. This is the greatest gym I've ever seen. Your gym. Beautiful, beautiful gym.
It's wide.
It's wide.
It's pretty. Yeah, it's pretty good. It's pretty good.
Okay. Let's switch to After Dark.
I still wish I had a green track.
Let's do it after dark time.
It's pretty good. Maybe one day.
Wow, look how fast it got.
Whoa.
We should get his fingers warmed up with lots of merch messages every week.
Is that it, Dan? Is that what's going on?
No, this is the flow. It made a little bit more sense tonight. I think a couple of weeks ago, you're just like, no, we're not doing any of these. Okay, WAN After Dark. I was just scrambling. I could see this, the denouement, right?
We gotta do a better job then. We gotta make it more chaotic.
Yeah, my life's too easy and I'm not stressed enough at work. Hi, guys. I've been living in Canada for almost 2 years, coming from Brazil. You guys taught me a lot about Canadian culture. You taught me a lot about Canadian culture. What in each of you, or your 3 opinions, is the most unique Canadian thing?
Man, it's a super Canadian thing to not give a fuck about your Canadianness. I don't know if that's unique to us, but it is so contrastful with our southern neighbors that you can actually drive through a town in Canada and see Canadian flags only on government buildings.
That's the norm, I'd say.
Yeah, we don't do that.
That's changing a little bit,
but it
right
has
now.
actually changed quite a bit.
Yeah,
we put
over
some
the
up
last
at
little
my
while.
house. Yeah, we've never been patriotic, and now we are.
yeah.
It's very
I
weird.
wouldn't say we've never been patriotic. I'd say in our adult lifetimes, it's kind of faded to a significant degree. That doesn't necessarily mean that we don't value our sovereignty. It just means that, I don't know, I think we're just kind of chill about it.
I feel like we see ourselves very much as members of the world instead of
Aspirational members of the world, because the reality of it is we're
fair enough.
kind of not that relevant
There are
a lot of the time, but
the only reason why we're included a lot of stuff is because we were included in the big war that established a lot of stuff, not because our economy's strong or we're particularly influential.
Yep.
We built an arm for some cool thing that floats around the world. That was pretty neat.
That was pretty cool. Yep.
What was exactly the base question? It's unique.
Most unique Canadian thing.
For me, it's always been our one road.
Yeah,
Our one road.
that's pretty good.
Yeah, that's that South Park episode where they joke about the only road in Canada. Just follow the only road. That actually is a thing.
That's
True.
That's my favorite piece
Highway
of trivia.
number 1
Yeah, we only have one.
is the one federal highway that actually goes through every province. And it doesn't even go through the territories.
There are times when a bridge along that road will fall into disrepair, and to get across Canada, trucks and stuff will have to drive down into the States and cross the border and then come back up.
Part of it is
The
also
one road
a ferry.
isn't working.
Yeah, there's no way to get across it, and part of it is actually a boat.
Yeah.
Have you ever taken Highway 1 boat?
I've heard of it, but I haven't taken it.
Yeah, crazy.
Yeah.
Dumb country.
That's a good example. I don't know. I think we're the only
Definitely
country
not
in the
Tim
world
Hortons. Tim
that
Hortons is
legitimately-
trash and owned by a Brazilian conglomerate.
I was
so-
just going to say, I think
sad.
we're the only country in the world that has a very strong argument for nationalizing a fast food chain.
yeah,
I think Canada needs to, as a country, needs to buy Tim Hortons and nationalize
and make it not suck again.
because it
Actually sad.
I think it should like offend our country that a thing that was genuinely a defining part of our country, which it absolutely was, it isn't anymore, but it absolutely was.
And it sucks
And
now.
it's bad now. And people still remember that and will come to Canada excited to try Tim Hortons and then be like,
wow.
this is bad.
And Canada sucks, and Canadians have no taste.
yes,
Yeah.
those things actually get associated together. It's crazy. It's we as there maybe there's some other solution, but we should not have allowed it to become bad.
I think that's a uniquely Canadian thing, is anytime a company gets big enough, it can no longer be Canadian.
Yeah.
Like by law, it seems.
It
Being
seems
listed
like
on
it.
the Toronto Stock Exchange is like
You are
trash tier.
condemned to not become good.
And being owned by, basically you get so big that when it's time to sell, no other Canadian entity can afford to buy you anymore. So you just sell to an international conglomerate, and then that's why the major companies in Canada are mostly internationally owned. There are a handful of exceptions. Shopify would be one.
Yeah,
but
it's Bombardier.
I don't know how long they're going to be hanging around. Yeah, Bombardier would be another one. Hudson Bay Company. Yeah, well, rip Hudson Bay Company.
Everyone in Canada has kind of known
Yeah,
that.
rip ATI.
ATI, yeah, big
Yep.
sad one. What was it, Nortel? A little bit different of a rip, but still.
Yeah.
I think everyone up here has known that Hudson's Bay Company was going away for a long
Oh yeah, I
time.
mean, I haven't set foot in one in my adult life that I can
Yeah.
remember. So
Took long enough.
Why would you?
yeah, I'm amazed
Such a
they.
shame.
I'm amazed they lasted as long as they did.
Yep.
Sad.
That's right. I think the Hub is Canadian.
The Hub?
Yeah, a major company. I mean, they're a major company. You can't deny it.
Oh!
Yeah,
Yeah,
that,
they are Canadian.
that Hub. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
Oh, North Vancouver, I think. It came up a lot recently about when we were supporting Canadian companies.
Yep. Wait.
What?
You're saying they're from North Vancouver? No.
Oh, I
No,
don't think so. I
that's
thought they were back east.
they
are.
A&W. Their headquarters is in North Vancouver.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, A&W Canada.
I
is
get them
actually
confused so much. I'm
Different
so sorry.
company.
a completely different company from A&W USA. I was desperate for food, and I was in the States, and I got a teen burger at A&W. It was inedible. It was completely disgusting.
Yeah, that ain't it.
I would say that if you want to have Canadian fast food these days, if you come to Canada and you're like, okay, what's like good Canadian fast food? Go to A&W.
There isn't a lot. And
Yeah.
that's pretty much it.
That's
get-
pretty much it.
Get a Costco poutine. Actually, one of the best in Canada.
Costco counts, yeah.
Dead Antisocial says the American A&W used to be good like 20 years ago. Yeah, it's trash now. It's so bad. Oh yeah, Triple O's. Triple O's is good Canadian fast food as well. Those are actually darn good burgers.
You
for
might
being
have a
fast food.
harder time finding them.
Yeah,
They're
well,
nowhere near
Western,
as common.
Yeah, it's Western Canada. So
Yeah. That's why I didn't really bring them up. But that is a good point. We'll give them that.
all right, hit me, Dan.
Hi, Ong Ive Ann. This is a Speeve type comment. My employer recently hit the big 100. What kind of achievements do you hope to have if LMG lasts that long? Also, hi, VODme.
Well, the achievements won't be mine personally because I'll be long dead. So there's that.
I mean, you're a tech
All
YouTuber.
original people at the company would be gone.
Yeah, so I would hope that LMG doesn't lose its soul. I would hope that it's still a cool place to work. I would hope that, we still have a culture of like kicking butt and working hard. I would hope that we do a good job of both competing hard in the tech media space, but also building a collaborative atmosphere and environment with our competitors. What else would be on the list?
I would kind of hope that they still haven't taken outside investment.
Interesting. How does that work though? Because there'd have to be succession of some sort. Do we go monarchy? Like, what are you thinking here?
What if they started buying up other companies?
Man, M&A is not really like my jam. We've always been like a grind it out and make it from the ground, which honestly is kind of stupid if you think about it. Okay, I don't know. I
don't know, and I don't know how
successor.
that works necessarily. I think the main thing is I wouldn't want like a conglomerate.
Right. Yeah. So at the very least, maybe we could manage like a small ownership group. I don't know.
Something. I have no idea. I can't claim to have the answer, but
I mean, I guess I'm going to have to figure out the answer at some point.
at some point.
Because there's only so many exit strategies, right? Like you can sell, you can convert to like a co-op. You can. What else can you do? You can shut
There's a
down.
very popular one right now, which is something that you like half did, which is you get a new CEO and then you just retain all ownership and just take reports once a year and don't do anything with the.
Won't help us hit 100. I'll die. So someone's going to have to own the company at some point.
Yeah, but yeah. You said exit strategy. That is a thing. That
Oh,
people
sure.
do. Yeah.
I meant like from ownership.
Right.
Anyone else thinking? Oh yeah, pass on to kids. That's one.
So that's the monarchy route.
That's the monarchy route. Yep.
I don't know if any of your kids
Could be a paper
My
monarchy.
son asked
growing
to do a
interest.
video, and I gave him the least glamorous assignment possible to see if he actually cares. And he appears to be working on a review of the new Kindle Color. I really couldn't think of anything less glamorous
That's pretty not glamorous.
than a Kindle e-reader,
Yeah.
but he is asking a lot of the right questions, and I'm guiding him a little bit, but I'm not doing any work for him. And it is a product that he genuinely uses, like the old Paperwhite. So I was planning on actually doing the video myself because I just wanted the new Kindle Color because it looked cool. And so I grabbed the new Paperwhite and I grabbed the Color, and I was like, well, I'll work on this in my spare time. So I made some notes and I passed those along to him, as well as giving him some ideas for where he could look for information, other professional reviewers, customer reviews, his own thoughts, making sure not to plagiarize any of that and to compile it into, his own thoughts. And I told him that if he comes up with a script for it, that I would help him review it, and that he could host part of it. So who knows?
That's kind of cool.
We'll see.
Do you think it's
go public was another exit strategy.
Do you think it's something he's intrinsically interested in, or do you think he's struggling to find things that are interested in and is doing a fairly classic maneuver of I'll do what dad does?
Hard to say. He definitely, because you got to remember the kid's young.
Oh yeah,
He's young.
he might just be playing around,
Like,
seeing what sticks, which is totally fair.
I was way less driven to do anything when I was his age than he appears to be. I mean, I didn't try to do anything that my dad did even yet.
He's got some Avon.
Yeah, oh, definitely. Yeah, he's the 50-50, and then the next one is mine, and the next one is Yvonne's. Like, we just kind of the preschool teacher who had all of them. So I think there's only one teacher. No, there's actually two now. But before there was one teacher who got all of them for preschool. And about a week into my youngest's first term, I'm dropping her off in the morning, and she kind of pulls me aside. She goes, "Boy, did you ever get a variety pack?" Yes, we did. Yes, we did.
That's pretty funny.
Okay.
I'm a dev. I work on my own projects, but I feel like I'm running out of time. But I'm afraid about going live or selling. How did you deal with anxiety of starting, running, and maintaining LTT?
Nike. Just fucking do it.
Oh, no, never mind. I thought you were making a running joke.
Nope. You just do it. Ship it.
We don't really spend much time in pre-production for anything.
That's not fair. That's not fair.
I'm going to mute
What do
myself.
you mean that's not fair?
We do. Oh, you guys spent a lot of time in pre-production for Airtable. Months. That's a lot of time.
6.
Yeah. There. Boom. Boom. He's got nothing.
I
He's
definitely have stuff. You want me to talk?
dumbfounded.
You want me to talk?
You can talk about whatever you want. It's a free
It
country.
was one person reconstructing the entire communication and process system for the entire company. 6 months was not enough. It could have either taken more time or more people. But we hit a point where it was like the value proposition of continuing to spend time on this doesn't really fit how
You said
LMG tends to operate.
time, not man hours. Objectively, I am correct. 6 months
Objectively, man hours is not the term anymore.
of time. This is true, but you understood me, and the point of language is mutual understanding.
CW does? That's fair.
Yeah. Oh, they really do.
I think they're the only ones.
I mean, they spent 3 years in pre-production of a screwdriver. Let's be real. Clearly, we ain't rushing them. All right. So
the Labs
yeah.
website is the worst.
I mean, I
example.
think that you just gotta. Okay, you don't want to do reputational damage by launching something that's not ready.
You also have to just get stuff out there, though.
But you also, you have to ship
Is
something.
it usable?
Yeah. Will it be useful for anyone? Will it be worth the asking price for anyone? If the answer is yes, then don't oversell it.
Also,
say what it is, say who it's for, and as you continue to refine it, you can say what more it is and what more people it's for, and you can grow from there. Maybe. I don't know what your product is.
So you want a big spike of inspiration? Get those first user tickets coming in.
Yeah.
Get it in front of people and see if people care at all. Because if they don't,
That's good to know.
stop working on it. Stop wasting your time.
Yeah.
But if they do and they're like, oh man, this is cool. Doesn't really work because of X and Y reasons, but it's cool. Then you can fix X and Y reasons and then keep going.
What is the new term for man hours? People hours? Human hours?
I think it's
Labor resource
Oh,
acquisition.
stop it.
I mean, that's my favorite.
I've generally said people hours.
People hours. Okay. So what if a dog's working on it?
Being hours.
That would be part of labor resource.
Organism hours?
It's close, but yeah.
Okay. Feels like kind of a basic thing to call it, though. OH? No, nothing.
It was pretty good.
Thanks.
Work hours.
Work hours.
Work hours,
That makes
but
more sense.
The problem with work hours is a lot of people associate it with an individual.
Yeah. And DEI is
You can't
illegal,
really say
so it's man hours now.
And they cost 30% more.
I think you mean 245% more.
Oh,
I like billable hours.
Billable hours is pretty good, but it's generally in a contracting sense.
I like labor
You
resource.
don't generally.
AFA says if a dog's a Labrador, it could be lab hours.
we'll hear it eventually, Dan.
And if a dog's a Shih Tzu, it could be shit hours.
I mean,
Oh,
I don't need to bleep that because
it's a dog.
it's a dog.
It's not a swear word. It's
Yeah.
a dog.
And if you tell me I need to bleep it, that's poppycock.
I don't think most people are going to understand that it's like actually a word,
What, poppycock?
isn't it?
Well, you act like they've never seen a titmouse before.
or just a tit.
Or a bony ass fish.
Human capital, thanks. That's great too.
Human capital is pretty good.
Human labor resource suffering capital. How many hours in the wagey cage does this take to get produced?
The wagey cage.
I don't know.
You
I
act
don't
like
know,
your
boss.
employer hasn't converted you to a salaried employee yet with no overtime.
No,
Like
this
Luke.
is
Yeah.
my corpo training showing. We took courses on abusing employees.
I mean, you can only be in a wagey cage if you're getting an hourly wage.
He's getting. You've been paying
I'm hourly.
plenty of overtime.
Oh,
for
no,
him.
I know. I meant you're not, though.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, him I'm not paying for as of like 3 or 4 hours ago, I think.
Oh yeah, whatever.
Nice.
Yeah, I like on average work like 12 to 14 hours on Fridays alone.
Yeah, I didn't work a
fine.
13-hour day today just because of other reasons.
That's what he's currently on that grind.
Yeah,
Oh, boy.
it's fun. I mean, you guys do it. Why can't I?
I think have I ever gotten overtime? I think I've been salaried
so.
forever. Did I?
Hold on.
Not realistic.
I don't know.
If it ever happened, it wasn't real.
Yeah. Yeah, truthfully, I don't know. I
I
doubt it.
don't think so.
I doubt it.
Because who would have logged it?
Yeah, you should join a union, probably.
The other thing is if
That would
you
suck.
if you follow the standard rules here,
That's gonna
then
take
you
it out of
like
context.
you wouldn't be allowed to work.
That time that Luke got canceled instead of me. Let's go.
There's a long story behind that. Don't worry about it. Should I explain it? I can explain it.
I don't care.
I worked at one union job ever.
I just like that you're canceled instead of me. So honestly, I don't think you should explain it.
I worked. He's not going to let me now. I worked at one union job ever. The job was fine. The people I worked with at the plant was fine. It was a bread factory. My brother had worked there previously, and a lot of the workers there that knew him were very cool with me. They liked my brother, but the union rep hated him. So the union rep took it out on me.
I can't imagine why anyone would ever get into it with your brother. To be clear, love Rich. But I could imagine that.
I understand it.
It's almost like the Lafreniere boys have being a little hot-headed in common.
I was going to say, I understand it because I understand it from me as well. We are somewhat alike in that way. But yeah, and he would take it out on me by just screwing with me with schedule, because the union rep set the schedule, and it was like a war, and my actual boss man guy at work couldn't do anything about it. And it was super annoying. Luke Nukem, the union buster. I'm not a union buster at all. My brother was in the Teamsters union when he worked for the movies, and that sounded and seemed pretty cool. And now he's in the firefighters union, and the firefighters union is amazing.
Yeah, if you can get in.
Yeah.
But there does appear to be some potentially union-related factors that make it very difficult to get in.
That's also a problem.
There's that.
Yes.
What Luke is trying to say is that they are not perfect.
No, there's ups and downs, and there's points in history where, like, oh dear God, if they didn't exist, things would have been bad. But they're not always universally good. Anyways,
More?
Sure. Why not?
Hey, LTT, first time buyer, greetings from Mexico.
What's up?
What percentage of orders do you guys get from Latin American countries? The last time I got one of your products was the original gangster screwdriver from Amazon.
nice.
That is a good question. I do not know. I can tell you that right now there are 155 visitors on the site. There are at least 3 of them in Mexico, 2 in Brazil.
Currently visiting, you're talking about?
Yeah.
Yeah.
On the site right now.
Yeah.
Those are the Latin countries I am most familiar with. No one else anywhere in South America, though. Part of that's probably almost nothing in Europe right now, but I think that's quite time zone related, because Europe and Australia usually light up pretty good when there's a lot of people on the site.
Yeah, they were earlier in the show.
Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah, so I don't know. Based on a sample size of 150, a few. Oh, one more in Brazil just now. The little Shopify dashboard has a little like pew, like a little arrow that comes out from your location to the dot that it makes. So if all of y'all in Brazil, okay, if all of y'all go to the site right now, it'll be like pew 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 to your location in Brazil. So let's see how many Brazilians are watching.
How real time is this?
I think it's quite real time. Bill Maher was there. Objectively annoying to everyone. Both sides of the aisle. I mean, the visitors going up right now is going to it's going up, but I don't think any of them are in Brazil. It's a bunch of North Americans. Oh, there we go. Oh. Okay, well, I don't know. The little animation only goes sometimes. I don't know if you guys saw that, but it went to like somewhere in the eastern United States just now. Oh, wait. No. Yeah, there's more dots. Yeah, there's more dots, but it didn't make the little pew 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 thing. So there's like, I don't know, another like 7 people. See a bunch like down there.
Yeah, I see it.
Oh, yeah.
The dot's also just getting darker.
There's also a bunch of people who seem confused. That is not Brazil right there at the top there. That's Peru, according to my risk map. I don't know what
people
it actually
getting
is.
confused?
Well, I told only the Brazilians.
Oh.
Yeah, and some of these have hair. Okay, carry on.
I heard Dan like physically react to that.
I just... nothing. Just ignore me. Evening, Wansters. Question for Luke. Any updates on setting up the mainline IDE LLM integration for the development team? Wouldn't the 100K server with its NVIDIA A100s be the perfect fit for this job?
We're just using those new Macs.
I think they were just trying to get you to pressure me to buy a $100,000 server.
Oh, no, we're just going to do that.
Which would... No, we're not.
No, we're not.
No, we're not.
No.
That would not have worked. Well, however...
It could have. It could have. I don't even have to ask you.
If Supermicro wanted to like sponsor something or whatever,
I don't even
like
have to ask you.
lend us one. What do you mean you don't have to ask me?
I would talk to Terren.
What is your approval limit?
I would talk to Terren.
No, I think that's above his approval limit. You have to go to the shareholders at a certain point.
Does he have an approval limit?
$100,000.
I actually need to write this down if you do give me a number.
Yeah.
Because I'm working on that right now.
Yeah, there's like approval limit automations and stuff.
Yar.
Are you just calling them?
Well, Terren, I don't mind bugging.
Supposed to do meetings about this.
Billable hours.
No, he's salaried.
I know, I was trolling.
Then he has to do time off in lieu.
Hey, you're live on the WAN show.
Again?
Yeah.
My lucky month.
Yeah, it's every Friday.
Yeah. Usually I'm not live though.
Yeah, you should probably know that if you like are the CEO of the company. You have a, we
He
have a
meant you calling him.
It's about the same thing too.
So
It is really.
remember I called you before and I was asking about my approval limit for purchase requests? Yeah, we were talking about that again. What is your approval limit?
I was just talking to Yvonne about that yesterday, so we need to figure it out this week.
Okay, but you don't actually know
Meaning
yet.
up until now, he didn't have one.
I have it as an affinity
I
symbol.
got in trouble. I got in trouble that time when we were doing consumer research, and you weren't super happy about the amount of money I spent. So the words were, I'm okay with a run rate spend. Anything else, I'd like to be at least consulted, even though you have discretion in terms of where you should spend money, even though I might disagree.
That sounds like something I would say.
That sounds pretty reasonable.
Yeah.
Okay, and how much was that consumer research that got approved without anyone checking with me again?
No. That's probably under NDA, as we talked about earlier this week. So I prefer not to talk about this one on air, just because I won't upset our partners.
That's fair. That's fair.
Good, because I refused to say it on the show before, which is why he's trying to ask you now.
Yeah, I was going to say it, but I legitimately just forgot how much it was. So, okay, cool. Well, it's a good thing we dodged that bullet.
Make sure you let me know how much that
How's that for
is.
ducking and weaving?
Pretty good, actually. I think you're getting better at this.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
Thanks, Terren.
All right. Have a good night, guys.
All right. Later, Scooter.
I'm amazed that they're actually going to have conversations about it this week. This must have spurred some accounting conversations
That's probably good.
after talking to Cito.
Okay. Well, we'll have to get you guys an update on that.
What gets measured gets managed, right?
Yeah, and then automate it so nobody ever has to think about it again.
Yeah.
That's Luke's MO.
Sick.
I've adopted that.
Thinking is bad.
I hate doing
Thinking
that
is
thing.
terrible.
It's
Okay.
so
None
bad.
of us should ever think again.
Hurty brain. I want to draw pictures.
Just before anyone freaks out, because I feel like we're going to get canceled for the second time in like 10 minutes. No, that's not the approach. We're just trying to make it so that people don't have to think about like small,
Pointless
meaningless
stuff.
things that don't matter.
I have
Yes.
spent 6 months thinking really hard so that I don't have to think for like 5 seconds per
yeah,
day.
but then you compound that across everyone in the company.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I was looking for budget laptops and found your video last month. Why did you break budget at the end when the idea originally felt like you were reviewing options for people that can't make enough?
I was looking for budget laptops. Why did you break budget at the end? Are you talking about the one where we looked at the top selling laptops? Because we didn't have a budget on that one. We were just looking at the top selling ones, and the reason that we included the MacBook was because it was one of the top selling ones, and we thought it was really interesting that it was 3 or 4 times the price or whatever it was, and you had to go to like the number 25th selling item to find a PC that was priced anywhere near it. So we thought it was really interesting that PC buyers buy these crappy computers and then think that PCs kind of suck, but they're willing to spend a decent amount of money on a Mac, on like a lot of money on a really nice Mac, and then they're like, oh, Macs are good. And I just thought that was an interesting conversation. That was yeah. I don't think it was a matter of like breaking budget. We just wanted to talk about the top selling, the most popular laptops, why they're the top selling, most popular laptops. In the case of the PCs, it was because they're cheap. And we thought it was really interesting that in the case of the Mac, it was for a different reason. It was because of the brand value that Apple has built by never building cheap, crappy machines. Well, at least not cheap ones anyway.
Yeah. Mark? My PC caught fire while gaming.
Oh.
The power cord melted and arced until I got an extinguisher. Couldn't unplug due to the fire and arcing blocking the UPS. What causes a cord to melt after 9 years? Power supply exhaust?
I would have to imagine the only thing I can think of would be a loose connection. Like if you had a loose connection, that could heat up the housing. And if the housing heated up and melted enough that those conductors could get close enough, it could arc. That's the only explanation that springs to mind for me, but I am not an expert on this.
Hello, DLL. For Linus. Whatever happened in the end with your pool contractor? I know the pool is finished, but how did the conversation end?
The conversation ended with us having paid way too much money, it having taken way too long, and us basically saying, look, we still owe you a little bit of money, not nearly enough for how much work you have outstanding, but we never want to speak to you again. We are not giving you any more money, and you are never coming here again. We don't expect warranty coverage because, quite frankly, you'd probably break it more anyway. Goodbye.
Sounds reasonable.
For how long that whole thing dragged out, I think that's probably the best they could have hoped for. We could have sued them. We decided that it was a waste of money and time, and we have better things to do. But we would have quite easily gotten a settlement because they did stuff that was just brazenly illegal in their billing and stuff. It was the whole thing.
To be honest.
Thanks for the great products. I think Apple Silicon would make better Nintendo gaming devices than the Switch 2. Should Apple buy Nintendo? What do you think that would do to Apple gaming?
Wow, I was with you there, and then you were on the rails, and you went,
Yeah, I curated this one immediately.
No, Apple should not buy Nintendo. I can't think of any two companies whose cultures are more different and yet reach such similar outcomes. Yeah.
Tim Mario.
The horseshoe problem. They both are companies with wild stocks of cash.
Yeah.
Stores of cash.
Yeah. Stockpiles
of cash.
No. Apple should not buy Nintendo. That would do nothing for Apple gaming. It would continue to be Nintendo gaming. Yeah. And Apple would continue not caring about gaming. That's another thing. Apple would never buy Nintendo. As for whether Apple Silicon would make a better Nintendo gaming device than the Switch 2, I mean, that's there might be an argument there.
I don't know.
I don't think so. I don't think we've seen a like-for-like comparison between NVIDIA's latest GPUs and Apple's.
It's also going to be tough
really
because of DLSS. We really need to see the effects of that.
Yeah.
It's the Switch 2 is honestly going to be an incredibly interesting device to evaluate, despite being not an incredibly interesting device.
I'm interested in it. I want one.
Why are you so interested in it, though? It's the least...
It's the Switch, but better.
Yeah, which is not interesting.
But it's everything it's less crappy. Stuff being less crappy is pretty interesting to me in current year.
Oh, I feel that hard. That hurts. That hurt my soul a little bit. Sad. Oh, God. Oh, he's so right.
We're coming out of 6 GPU embargoes, and this is what we get.
Is he wrong, though?
Look, we talked earlier on the show about how exciting it was that you could walk into a store and buy a GPU for over MSRP.
For $10 over MSRP.
It's only $10 over price. Oh my goodness.
I hate current year. I say that so much. I want to go home.
No.
Okay, let's just keep going. Hello, LTT. I'm curious about your swear policy. What would you classify as quote-unquote bleepable? I sometimes hear your stream and videos say things I thought would have been bleeped out, but ours pretty frequent.
Sometimes mistakes happen.
Yeah, sometimes we just, pull a boner. and we accidentally don't bleep something that probably should have been bleeped. Also, the rules around swearing are sort of nebulous and complicated. Like South Park did a really funny episode, It Hits the Fan, where they sort of poked fun at censorship rules, and like how it was, depending on the usage of the word shit, which we generally do bleep regardless of the usage, it was like okay
S-word.
with the censors, or it wasn't, depending on whether it was like used as an adjective or I forget the exact reasons, but Mr. Garrison like stands on at the board and sort of explains what you are and what you're not allowed to say. It's also evolved over time.
That's cool, actually.
Like it's region specific too. Like for example, over here, cock is generally considered to be like probably bleepable, but maybe not. And then like dick is like, some people are like, oh my God, I can't believe you didn't bleep dick. Whereas I just I'm like dick because I just think it's funnier. But yeah, no one cares here.
No one cares.
So
yeah, someone in chat said Aussies in the C word. Yeah.
Yeah. Like, oh, the C word's like
it's a big deal. No up here.
Yeah.
I don't even say it like off camera.
No.
Yeah.
And then it's friendly conversation down there. It's just different. Like societies will determine. It's all just noises we make with our face. Societies will determine which ones are cool and which ones aren't.
Yeah. So I mean, for us, I'd say the things that we don't use at all, whether the camera's rolling or not. You've got your N-word, right? Things that we use and bleep. That's your fuck and and that sort of thing, and things that we just kind of let slide is like, you're being a real ass about this situation, damn it.
If you add whole to the end of it, it becomes worse, and I think that is bleeped on TV, but just the front section is not. But if you say them together, that's really bad.
Yeah,
that's interesting.
I think that's our current censorship laws. I can't quite remember.
Oh yeah.
Yes, chat. That's why I smiled.
J Christ 08 says bollocks and wankers would probably never be on British TV, but here it's hilarious.
Oh yeah, I think those.
Yeah, because we just think it's like funny because
bollocks.
Because it sounds so British or whatever.
Yeah.
Definitely a swear.
And like, I wouldn't care at all if it was in my non-native tongue. So like tabernacle, that's a French word. Who cares, right? All right, carry on.
Let's see. LDL fixed my son's RC car, resoldering parts on the board. He watched and got the spark, in quotes, of wanting to learn. Linus, what is a dad moment where you saw that your kids have that childlike curiosity?
Oh, it's been really cool watching the girls get really into the 3D printer, I think. They all of a sudden wanted to sign up for lessons and learn computer stuff. Before that, they mostly were just used it as a gaming box. So that was pretty cool.
Watching little man be not just genuinely deeply curious, but actually have good questions and seem to care and want to learn more and get more out of it.
Oh yeah, we attended a tour together. Are we allowed to say where we toured?
Yeah.
Okay, we went to NASA.
Yeah.
Luke arranged everything, and I asked my son, because usually I don't really do vacation. I don't go anywhere. When I get time off, the thing that I'd rather do more than anything else in the world is just sit and do nothing and think about nothing. But in this case, Luke invited me as a courtesy, even though he knew I probably wasn't going to go. And I was like, oh, that would probably be really interesting for my son. The girls are still a little young for that. I think it would have been a lot for them. And I especially think that now that it's done, because it was a lot of walking and a lot of knowledge dumps. But he had an absolute blast, and pun intended, and asked some really salient questions.
He did,
which was surprising to me. It demonstrated he was really paying attention and thinking about it. And given how shy he was when he was very, very little, it was cool to see him speak up in a group setting. So lots of moments. I mean, as a parent, They're going to come constantly.
There was a bit of trust there too, because like it's not generally a tour you bring kids on. Like you're not generally necessarily allowed because there's areas you're going to that are like
They're not kid friendly.
no. If you horsed around, it's like a problem.
Yeah.
Like
for other people too. Like it's a safety concern.
Yeah. But there was some trust there, and he was totally good the whole time.
Oh yeah, and he's a great kid.
Unflinchingly good, which was great.
Yep.
Are there any new sticker sets coming?
Yes.
I've bought a case which has 3 fans in the front behind an acrylic panel with 0 airflow. Any suggestions on how to improve mesh? So I have something in front and avoid limbs getting stuck if I cut it.
I can't believe the timing of this. Okay, so first of all, you can cut a hole and then you can drill some holes and then you can buy little mesh fan filters. But that's not actually what I want to talk about. What I want to talk about is that we're collabing with NASA to answer the question of how far does a fan need to be from a panel to work effectively.
Cool.
And they've got like the science for it. It's going to be really cool.
That's awesome.
Yeah, I was talking to Adam about it today. I'm like super excited.
That's sweet.
Yeah, it's going to be freaking awesome because there's so many applications where you want to know that. Like how high does your computer case have to be off the floor before that power supply fan's not effective?
Yeah.
What about if you have a vertical GPU mount? How close does it have to be from the side panel before those fans are really impeded? Also the front fans. And I think I came up with one other scenario. So yeah, it's going to be awesome.
Sounds sick, actually. Hey, Dinus, Duke, and Lan, how do you draw the line on how much internal information to show? I feel like your transparency bites you in the ass more often than it helps you.
For me, a big part of my problem is that I am not detail-oriented enough to lie, even if I wanted to.
Honesty by incompetency.
It really is the best policy to tell the truth and to
It's so much more legit than people understand.
That's why we love him.
and
It's
to
great.
apply a basic set of principles in a way that is consistent, can be consistently remembered and applied and accounted for. And by saying things publicly, I create a system where that accountability is inherent, because once you say something publicly, you are, in my humble opinion, bound to it. So a lot of the time, I share this internal information that ends up biting me in the butt because, in a certain sense, I kind of want it to, if I ever changed my story in the future, if that kind of makes sense. There are ways that it has bit me in the butt that I haven't wanted it to, like when people make assumptions, like that I, did lie or something, when actually I just like told you guys what it was, and I don't know, you drew your own conclusions because you got like mental problems or something.
I thought you were just collecting ass bite marks like trophies or achievements or something.
Want to see them?
They match the tattoo.
And like I don't know.
My tattoo is just his.
My other tattoo is
Twitting.
Sometimes I can be logical to a fault, but also highly emotional, if that makes sense. And so that logicalness in terms of my course of action, I think both the logical and emotional side of me think that if I behave in a way that is logical, that should make sense to other people and that they should more clearly be able to assess my motivations and predict my future actions. So, to me, for something like the Trust Me Bro warranty, let's look at that. The logical case that I laid out pretty clearly is that if I ever f***ed it up, I would get put up on a stake, right? And then spit roasted over a fire, right? Because I'm a public figure. So if I were to, go around screwing people over on the warranty coverage of their products, it would make the loudest possible noise and be the juiciest possible gossip. And so to me, that made the logical part of my brain went, so this should be pretty obvious that I, as not an idiot, would not screw this up because it would basically be the end of my career. But then I don't know, I guess some part of me missed the part where other people just do stuff anyway that they shouldn't and don't seem to face consequences. And people have lived through that over and over and over again. So that trust is eroded on a broader scale, which has nothing to do with me. And, that's something that like doesn't easily compute for me. It's something that I struggle with. It also emotionally is really frustrating, right? Because, to me, something can be kind of black and white. It's like, yeah, no, obviously we wouldn't do that because that would be really dumb. But some people legitimately seem to think that I'm actually very dumb. And so they will tend to assume like the dumbest possible course of action, even though I don't really think I've, given any reason
I don't think
to
that's
assume
necessarily fair.
Oh, there's definitely some. I promise
Yes.
you that.
Okay. Yes. Sure. But I don't think as a whole that's necessarily fair.
No,
and
I
I
don't
bet
think
you
that's-
with a lot of people, they're going with the route that we've told them to do, whether they've seen that or not. I don't know. But it's the don't trust companies thing. I think sometimes you overestimate how many people watch enough to
sure.
feel like they know you.
And there's also cultural differences. Like one of the big things that I saw with the whole warranty thing was places where they have strong consumer protection laws and strong mechanisms to hold companies accountable for their warranty policies. Right here, we don't have that.
Yeah, no.
You literally have to like take the company to court
Yeah.
at a great deal of personal time and expense. You won't. It pretty much boils down to the company's willingness to do anything for you. But there are parts of the world where that is different. And some of those people were legitimately very upset in like a personal value way that I would see it any way other than that. Okay, that's fair enough, right? And obviously we went in and we like created a policy before we actually ever sold a backpack. But for some reason, like that's still a huge problem, even though the
I've had to correct
conversation,
people on that.
the poorly worded explanation that I gave for why we didn't have a policy yet, which by the way was still before we ever sold a backpack.
That part is very often forgotten.
Very often forgotten. That was the truth. And that transparency bit me in the butt big time because I didn't do a good job of explaining it.
Wasn't well packaged.
No, it was extremely poorly packaged. And I'm going to keep doing it. In conclusion,
Which is based.
we have an interview coming up on Floatplane, checking in on Terren's first 2 years. So
That's cool.
Sammy sat down with me and Terren and asked us some questions, and we are unflinching in our responses, and we touch on some potentially even challenging and uncomfortable subjects. And I think it's going to be really great for the community, even if it, airs our internal laundry a little bit more than most companies would. But I think that's part of what makes us really special.
I feel like the watch rate percentage for that video of internal employees is going to be the amount of people that watch that with the Linus account alone.
Oh, yeah.
That's going to be nuts. I'll watch it. It genuinely sounds really interesting.
I ask him why he hasn't moved here yet. Well, I don't really ask him so much as I point it out.
Yeah.
Because Tim Hortons is bad.
I don't blame him.
We need to fix it.
I
It
know.
has to be fixed.
I know.
It has to be
We
fixed.
can't
You
afford
could
to
buy
buy
it.
We can't afford to buy
You
it.
could buy it.
It's worth billions of dollars.
Start a new one.
Just take our loan.
You literally know how much money I have. What are you even talking about?
What if you made Linus Sebastian's? It's a terrible name for a
It
restaurant.
really is a terrible name.
Oh no.
Call it
Bobby's got time for Linus Sebastian's.
That's not the worst. It jingled fairly well.
Well, yeah, that's a Tim Hortons jingle.
I know.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
All right, let's carry on.
Sebastian's has you.
Lenny Sebs.
We've got
That's
your back.
that's a scary thing.
Sebastian's is not that bad.
Sebastian's has you.
Yeah. They have you, bro.
Creepy. Trust them.
Trust us.
It's fresh. Trust us.
Linus and Luke's is not bad, actually.
Hey, I like it.
LL's Coffee Bar.
Yeah.
Oh.
We could have like a chilled juice bar. We could call it LL Cool J's.
That was quick. My goodness.
Okay, got a couple more for you here. Yo, buying a backpack for my GF. Are there any of the fun colors for the screwdriver? Noctua Retro coming back. Also, Luke, as a gym rat, what's your favorite lift in PR? I'll let you go first.
Dude.
This guy sounds like a pro.
I don't PR because I'm old and broken. So I
You do it a special PR.
my 5. Yeah, I do minimum sets of 5. My best for that's 225 bench probably. But no. That's the one I'm most proud of, like, grinding out, but probably my relative best was like a long time ago, and I haven't pushed it in a minute. But there's a point in time that for work reasons I had a lot of pent up feels, and my dad was also there, and that pushes me to try really hard. And not that far into my fitness journey, I hit 335 squat for 5 or 6, and the bar was bouncing. I scared one of the ladies in the gym because I work at a community gym and not a big lifter gym. Big lifter gym, nobody would have cared at all. But she was like, the bar's going to break. And I was like, no, it's fine. But that was a very cool moment.
That has to feel really good.
That was amazing.
I wish you could frame moments in
It was
time like that.
fantastic. It's so ego boosting. And then I had to remember that, like, it's not like an incredible amount. But anyways, my favorite one's probably, I think they're called eccentric accentuated skull crushers. I'm sure you remember those.
Oh, those are still my favorite too. After I figured out the muscle brain to do them, it's so satisfying.
Takes a sec, but you lay flat down on a bench. You take a fixed bar. I've done it with barbells now because the fixed bars are too light.
Yeah, Luke got too strong. I need the Weenie Hut Junior bars.
But you go arms straight up and then slightly back so that your return position or your resting position is still loaded. And then you have to come down for 3 seconds to behind your head is generally where I go, and then fire up. And you have to do that for 12 times. And it feels great. Your triceps just...
After you figure out that the motion is throwing the bar over you, it feels so good.
It feels functional.
It feels so good.
It feels very functional.
It's weird.
It's great.
Try them.
It's very good.
Let's have an ends justify the means conversation real quick.
Okay.
Denoli444 says, buy Tim Hortons. Just rip us off with a meme coin and use that to finance it. It's 2025.
Make Canada great again coin?
Would that justify a rug pull if we bought Tim Hortons back for Canada?
If the purpose of the rug pull is buying Tim Hortons.
Donut coin.
We did for the screwdriver what we're going to do for Canada's fast food. It's going to be the best.
It'll be a 9.5.
We're going to do
be a
to you
9.5.
what they did to this donut.
With the flesh driver.
But at least you'll have good donuts and coffee at the end of it.
They'll actually make the donuts in store again.
All right, sorry. As for the other fun colors of the screwdriver, my goal in the long term is that you can configure your screwdriver like Xbox controllers and get any color combination you want, but we are really far away from that right now. And any movement that we make towards diversifying our distribution centers to make it easier to address other parts of the world if it gets more challenging to sell into the US is going to set back projects like that, because there'd have to be a whole setup and you'd have to have inventory of all these different colors and stuff. It'd be a real challenge.
Okay, last one I've got for you tonight. I have a question for 1.5 of the Lafreniere boys.
Just 1/2.
Oh, for 1/2 of the Lafreniere boys. Sorry, my eyes are going now. I'm
not one of them.
Our company's dev teams don't have access to prod and are forced to do everything in testing environments. Is this normal in the dev world?
Needs to pee again. It kind of depends on your company size.
Did you curate this one?
No. Wait. Yes.
Okay.
I forgot. I didn't think I did, but I think I did.
No, that's okay.
No. So like at our most companies, no. Most companies, you'll have a select group of people that have access to it, and updates have to go through them. It is not very super normal, especially at sizable teams or non-startups or teams that are actually properly in production, for just everybody to be able to directly access prod. And I don't think you should take that as an insult. I think you should take that as like a, hooray, I don't have this soul-crushing level of responsibility of security.
It took
be
me
honest.
like maybe a year and a half, maybe more, before I was able to access the like WAN show prod stuff that I do before the show, because that's a horrific amount of responsibility.
Yeah, and it's not
For
like
me to just make an oops.
I think Dan is going to screw up, so he can't access the thing. The biggest part of it is actually like, oh, what if Dan's account gets compromised?
Or if I just make a mistake.
Oh, or that, yeah. You
More
kinda
people
gotta-
to just
you really
accidentally
need to have
misclick.
some rigor behind your understanding of the process and how things work, because that's
And
a
all the
that's a
buttons
touchy
are the same too.
it's a touchy dashboard.
All the same.
Yeah, and there's really
no confirmation.
no, there's really not a lot stopping you from making pretty big mistakes. So I don't know. I wouldn't say it's super normal unless you have a very small team. And like, some of my teams are in that range. So some of my teams, basically everyone can touch prod. But there's still usually process involved to make sure that there's visibility on it, stuff like that. But I don't think the goal should be for everyone to be able to touch prod. I know there was one conversation I was near at one point in time where two people at a certain company were bickering back and forth, and one of them used their "I'm able to push things to prod" as like as a card to play against the other, and that felt icky. But I do still think it's generally a better idea to have these updates filter through a smaller group of people so that pushes to prod can be controlled.
It should also be a cultural thing where you don't want to have access to prod.
Yeah, because then there's
That's-
pressure,
Yeah.
liability.
Yeah.
Yes. And that liability and managing that liability ends up being a significant part of those people's jobs, because now they're like reviewing everything that's going up and making sure it's good and blah, 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 blah. And that's like what they do now. And if you just want to build things, it might not be the best way to do that. Anyways, I think we're good.
See you again next week. Same bad time? Same bad channel?
I can't even press it. Mine is this button. You gotta. Bye!
Or not.
What?
Reference is getting old.